2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers postgame show. Bucs at Panthers. Panthers fall 46-23. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. What I need for you guys is to hit me up with a thumbs up for the audio, because Windows did an update, a massive update on my system, which always throws everything for a loop. Been working on it in the last quarter of the game. Didn't miss. Uh-oh. Where is that sounds coming from? I got a loop. I got the loop. I don't know. Hopefully. Okay. All right, cool. Again, Windows Update always screws me up. Anyway, you're here for the longest running Panthers podcast, and now we have the C3 Panthers postgame show, which is a great place for Panther fans to come together. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Go ahead and you can leave a message. We're going to play it on the podcast. We'll respond to all the calls. And going to be an interesting show tonight as we continue to debate the progress of this team, from the defense to the offense to the quarterback to the continued fake punts everywhere we look. And I'm going to do that tonight with my best buds. Cody Lashney in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Debate show about a topic that I know we're going to be talking about tonight, or today rather. Listen, I don't wish harm on any man. I hope Teddy Bridgewater is okay. He left the game with the knee injury. Prayers up to the man. But it's just a further continuation of what I have been saying, what we have been saying, and that when the moment is big and it comes time to go downfield and put points on the board, Teddy Bridgewater is not the guy. This is not a good football team. The better draft pick, the better for the future of the Panthers, but we'll get into it, Tony. In the meantime, we're going to do it with the best Panther fans in all of YouTube. George, Fight Me West, Tin Tizzy, Dakota Tumbleton, Alex Christmas, trying to find a brand new name here, Sarah Taylor, Mr. Swervy 101, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, baby. Let's go.
CK in the house. What's up, my buddy?
Man, just coming into this game with, high hopes, because we've, for the most part this year, been in every game. And, that first half was a fallacy. And we're going to talk about it, but I am going to ride another hill. There's going to be multiple hills we're going to be talking about. And one is Phil Snow's bend, don't break mentality. Ain't it?
Ain't it? All right, and we've got Greg, the Bat Daddy, man of many podcasts. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I got a whole lot of stuff to talk about tonight. You guys saw me and everybody on Twitter. I'm tweeting things out very, very nice about Bridgewater in the first half. He did have some throws that were a little off, but they get there anyway. He proved my point. Consistently average. He's not a franchise quarterback. We're going to talk about this tonight, and I got a burning question in my mind I want to ask y'all. I just thought about having a discussion with somebody on Twitter. So
the number's 252-228-5098. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the podcast. We welcome all Panther fans, new and old, as we continue to grow Panther Nation. Don't forget, we are not football experts, but expert football fans, bringing you the latest news and opinions on the Carolina Panthers. Our main show, or our weekly podcast, is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. live on YouTube. Don't forget, before then, if you want to bet on the games, late fall college ball, the NBA bubble, and UFC Fight Island, it's clear 2020 has been a year like any other, and the place to go and get those bets and those winnings like any others, MyBookie.ag. MyBookie, use the promo code OVERTIME. Whether you're a first-time customer or been playing with MyBookie for years, there's no shortage of value to be found in the thousands of game lines, unique prop bets, and contests that they offer up every week. I'm sure you would have made a fortune on the over today. I don't even know what the over was, but there's no way that it didn't hit. And if you go to MyBookie and use the promo code OVERTIME and it's your first deposit, they'll match you halfway. Since we're halfway through the NFL season, or past halfway, they will match you halfway up to $1,000. The terms are simple. You put in $200, you get another $100 in your account. If you are already planning to bet anytime this season, this is the way to do it. MyBookie, promo code OVERTIME. All right, guys, the Panthers fall. What was initially to be a very uplifting, seemed to be an uplifting game. The Panthers did go into halftime tied at 17. Some problems down the stretch with a drop DJ Moore pass that could have set up the Panthers potentially to either strike for the end zone or at least kick that field goal and go into the halftime at 20-17. And it was that drop right there that really, it seemed like when the Panthers started to drop the entire game. As they came out of the locker room, they continued to, or they only went basically on to put up 6 more points throughout the game and got blown out in the process, 46-23. Teddy Bridgewater sustained an injury towards the end of the game, leaving P.J. Walker. Williams. Walker. P.J. Williams is the basketball player. P.J. Walker to come in, and really, at that point, there was very little hope for the Panthers. While there was some fight, we saw some good things in the first half. But, guys, this game quickly became the Panthers team that many people expected this season to be in the second half. You guys watched the game. Your thoughts so far. What's the first thing we need to talk about now? And please don't say Teddy.
It's got to be the defense.
No, well, listen, okay. I think that we can kind of put them in a bundle. I would say third down on offense and on defense. Our defense cannot get off the field on third down to save their life. Our offensive backfield is shredded. Dante Jackson continues to have this stupid-ass toe injury, man. It's like either get on IR and fix your toe or actually be a reliable player in the football game. Okay, but now Sam Franklin's hurt. Tarir Trashhead got hurt. Man, we had a bunch of injuries. And, dude, we're not good on third down. And on the flip side, we're not good on third down on offense either. Mm-hmm. Like, there were plays when we had to have it. And it didn't happen for one reason or another. I mean, there are so many holes that can be spoken of on both sides of the football. And listen, I know that we're team anti-Bridgewater and that is not a franchise quarterback. But listen, it was a whole bunch of failures all around on Bridgewater, on our receivers. How about DJ Moore should have came down with that third down pass? And yes,
then Teddy's career, by the way.
Yeah, then by the way, our offense should have hurried the fuck up and got another play in before they had time to review it. Man, listen, it was an embarrassing performance. Embarrassing all the way around.
Well,
Would
man,
you blame that
in
on
fairness,
coaching?
the first half was good, guys. And I just want to highlight this, and then I'll pass the mic, is because Taylor, who brought it up in the chat, Sarah Taylor brought it up in the chat, that 98-yard run by the Bucs really kind of signaled the calamity coming, right? And then after that, Teddy Bridgewater turned it over. Until then, we were playing a very competitive game.
Well, to be truly honest with you, I agree that the 98-yard touchdown really was like a gut punch and knocks the wind out of you. But at that point, we're still in the game. The next play turnover, I feel, is what really, really ended it. Period. Point blank done. And even then, we still got the ball back with down 2 possessions with 9 minutes left and 3 touchdowns and couldn't get it done. Yeah. So even after Bridgewater throws the interception immediately after the 98-yard touchdown, when you feel like it's over, we're still in the game with 9 minutes left, 3 timeouts, down 2 possessions. And if you have a quarterback that you believe is a franchise quarterback, he gets that done, or he at least gets close. He doesn't get blown out. So
I believe it.
Get in there, guys.
CK, jump on it, man. Say something about this team.
So, again, so a question that I think Greg has posed is, do we blame this on coaching? I think up to this point, our coaches have done everything they can possibly do with a broken defense. But the part that I don't believe we are capitalizing on is Phil Snow. I have not seen enough from Phil Snow to warrant him to be, our defensive coordinator. I haven't seen anything incredible. He continues to do things that aren't working. The 3-man rush with dropping 8 people on 3rd down and long has not worked. And you know what has worked a lot of times is when he's rushing 4 people on that 3rd down. And that's when our punts have come. So the problem is that this, by the way, guys, this would have been a much bigger blowout had Tom Brady had a little more touch on some of those passes he was throwing down the field. Just think about how wide open those receivers were in the end zone multiple times. That is a problem.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the past 2 weeks in a row watching Tampa, I've noticed the same thing, man. Tom Brady will sail passes just right over an open receiver's head, man. It's funny, and people are going to shoot me for saying this, but physically, at least, Tom Brady and Teddy Bridgewater are very comparable to me.
I think Tom has a stronger arm than
I think
Teddy
so. I think today, I was going to tweet this. How is it that Tom Brady at 44 years old looks like he has a better arm than Teddy Bridgewater?
And by the way, so you notice that's an arm talent thing.
And he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
A lot of people think that arm talent is just how far you can throw a ball. That's not it at all. It's how hard you can drive the football. That's why Tom Brady sails his passes. And look, he's more aggressive than Bridgewater, but I would say that's what it would look like if Teddy Bridgewater was more aggressive. And that's why he doesn't trust himself to make a lot of those throws. So,
all right, so here, back to Phil Snow in this defense right now is that because a lot of people, let's focus in on this defense before we spiral into a Teddy debate. The defense, in some ways, struggled today, right? I mean, obviously, you give up 46 points. That's not a good thing. A lot of problems, like you said, in coverage. And look, this team, let me see, Tampa was able to rush the ball. The Bucs had 340 yards passing. Tom Brady was 28 for 39, 341, 3 TDs. Ronald Jones had 192 yards. Now, one of those was on a giant carry, but still a 100-yard game.
Would have had 100 yards either way.
Very, kind of a struggle against the run at times. But in defense of Phil Snow and this defense, what do y'all expect? When you're talking about the team, again, I describe as a team half full of bums, half full of rookies on defense. And you're talking about a team that's got Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, Leonard Fournette. Like, they have too many tools in the toolbox. Yeah. And to be honest, the defense, and while they were able to get away with some, fortunate, like you said, that Antonio Brown overthrew Antonio Brown, where Antonio was cutting more towards the post, it looked like, when Tom Brady threw it straight up the middle. You saw some other times where they just could not get it in the end zone. Or make that final play. And you guys said that there was an opportunity. This could have been worse. Tom Brady in that first half was also throwing some of the most beautiful passes into tight windows while this defense was playing well. I don't know how we can expect our defense really to take a bludgeon after bludgeon after bludgeon and then be like, they stink. Yes, they do stink. They stink because the linebackers cannot support the run defense at all. We're kind of playing with Brian Burns and Zach Kerr only on that defensive line. And Rasul Douglas is out there trying to do his best against the best receivers in the league each and every week, while a rookie and Troy Pride, you could say he struggles this and that, but really, man, we are not tooled to be good on defense. Trey Boston with his worst game of the season. Tired Whitehead, terrible today. How can we say that this is on Phil Snow when that's what he's working with?
Well, can I ask you a question to start out with, or answer it with a question? I would feel a little differently about the defense and give them a little more slack if we didn't draft all defensive players in the draft this year. Like, that was what the coaching staff is trying to focus on, is improving the defense, and they haven't. And I feel like that's kind of an indictment on the coaching staff altogether, like not just Phil Snow, like altogether, the coaching staff and the front office, because you invested in this.
How have they not, though? Chin played well, still coming off the injury.
We're just making the argument that how terrible we played.
But also, did Jeremy Chin? Listen, I feel like Jeremy Chin today it got his first true welcome to the NFL game. Went wrong. Like, he had some moments, and not even just that. I felt there were some plays where he was taking bad angles to the football too. And again, it's one of those things where when everyone's playing bad, it kind of has a domino effect and it spreads to everyone else around them. And again, man, listen, I wanted to mention this name because it keeps on popping out to me. Brevion Roy was like a 6th round draft pick for us, and he was the guy that got in on that blocked punt. And so I keep on hearing his name. So, I wanted to shout him out for doing some kind of good things. But yeah, listen, I don't know what to say to what Tony just said, because I could say that at the end of every game that we do. Well, we're playing with, a bunch of no ones and a bunch of guys who are having to play in their first year in the NFL. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make up for them taking bad angles and for them being overall just soft, man. Even on those run plays, Ronald Jones, dude, he would just put his shoulders down and barrel over our defensive backs. Like, they weren't playing with any play strength.
Again, half bums, half rookies. And what do we expect when we go against the team that is really the most suited to win the Super Bowl this year? In theory, you should say that they have to be, in my mind, they have to be, just because of what they've done so far this season. Yes, the Saints game puts a stain on it, but this is the best team, along with the Chiefs, in the NFL. We expect the defense to get shredded. At least I do. I actually thought they put up a valiant first half, and that cascading effect where they were on the field a lot in the second half. On top of that, here, let's talk about a couple of good things they did. Is that they forced, while the game was still in hand, in the third quarter, right? We were down at this point. We go down 26-17. We throw the pick. What do? The defense on a short field turns around, holds them to a field goal. Turnover on downs right away with the fake field goal, trying to get back in it quick. right? Because we were worried about falling too far behind, which is a real concern. Again, holds them on an 8-play drive to a field goal. That was, I mean, you got to give them some credit for that.
No, I agree 100%. But my biggest thing is we talk about, we're playing with mop buckets and bolts here on defense. This is what the coaching staff in the front office set up, though. This is what they chose to sign. This is who they drafted. This is who they signed free agency. This is who they gave extensions to. This is what they put their faith in. So when do we give coaching? I think Phil Snow takes a big part of this, and a lot of the coaching takes a big part of this, because you talked about last year missed tackles being coaching fault. Well, we missed a lot of tackles today. And you can say we're playing with bums, but those are the bums that they put on the field. We didn't just get a random card
in a year that
even
the team, I think the team intended to be bummish on defense this year and to create a new young defense, not like we did with the offense where it was we wanted to be somewhat competitive. All right, now let's. Any other thoughts on this defense? Any other things that we need to consider? CK, I know. Yeah, get back in there because you have a lot to say about Phil Snow.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, you've added pieces that just don't fit to the puzzle, right? With Tahir Whitehead.
Tired.
Tired Whitehead. And even Pride Jr. has been, he wasn't the starter. We lost Dante Jackson again, which, by the way, just put that motherfucker on IR. Sorry for the cursing, but at this point in time, put him on IR. It has not gotten better. Don't even. I
don't even know if he would have been a help today, but yeah, I know.
Let other people get reps, and then maybe go look for somebody to bring in. I don't know, but right now he's still not even getting it done when he is on the field. So right now, put him on IR, let him heal up entirely, and then give him a good long look over the offseason and see what we need to do at that point in time. But right now, he is not the answer. It's not working. Troy Pride clearly doesn't know what he's doing. It's just frustrating on that front. But the expectation with Chin, and here's what I'm going to say. There are two players that I've seen on this defense that play with every ounce of effort that they possibly have. And that is Jeremy Chin, and that is Brian Burns. Every play, they do not take a step off. If it's not blown dead, they are putting every effort into it. I mean, and if you look at this defense and you see that, like Jeremy Chin, he may have taken some bad angles, but man, he is the only person that's been in a position to do anything on a lot of these big plays because everybody else failed. Even with that 98-yard return, right? Like Jeremy Chin had to hurdle over his own teammate to start running, and he almost made that ground up. You could tell he ran out of steam there. I think, yes, he may have had some bad looks. And even that play against Rob Gronkowski, I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the ball out instead of tackling. And that's you can't do that against Gronkowski. Gronkowski, he's got the ball, wrap the feet. Don't worry about anything else.
Before we go ahead, I'm sorry to interrupt.
But Chin is absolutely going to be the heart of this defense.
I can live with that.
I think I do think that this defense can be.
Wait, can I disagree with that real quick? Just with the last thing that you said. You said the heart of the defense. Let me tell you, I think the heart of the defense is Brian motherfucking Burns. Did y'all see that man on the sideline?
Yeah.
Getting into the defense's ass. Like, man, that guy has developed such a nasty spin move, man. And he's a leader on and off the football field. That's why I say he's my favorite player. And listen, I love Jeremy Chin too, and I think that we're like going forward the next 10 years, we intend Jeremy Chin to be our current gen version of Luke Kuechly, and I love that. But Brian Burns, man, he just has it. I think it was.
He's
Brad
also in his third year. He's supposed to be coming into it, right? This is his third.
Well, but he's also the only real genuine pass rush threat on our entire defensive line.
This
is it his second year? Is it his second year?
Okay. Everyone's keying in on Brian Burns. Like they'll put 2 and 3 guys on.
They were tripling him today.
Yeah, his
they'll
development
put a running back
is very encouraging. his continued development. He is stepping into the shoes. How about this? Do you think we're saying Brian Burns' name more, or is the Raiders fan saying Cleveland Farrell more?
Burns, 100%.
You know, that would be an interesting thing. We need to ask some Raiders fans, how is Farrell turning out? Because I feel like they're kind of a similar player. What do you think? You agree with that?
No, I mean, they're similar from the perspective of the position that they play. I think Brian Burns is far more of a sack threat. Like, he'll bulk up on some sacks. Cleveland Farrell is I think he's been more known for his time with the Raiders as a run defender. Okay. He was a good pass rusher at Clemson, but he's a stout run defender from everything I've seen of him. But
did you guys see? I mean, have you guys heard Derek Brown's name mentioned in the past 3 games?
I don't even know what his number is because I don't hear about it.
It's 90. What's his number? It 95 or 92? Somewhere in there.
95.
Other than his or whatever he had.
You know, I didn't. I heard a lot of Kerr today, Brave Young Boy today. But I don't, you know, when the center cog isn't called a lot, you know, we didn't hear his name with a penalty today. That was good news.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think this, and we'll turn to the offense next, but my thoughts about the defense before we start overly being concerned about Phil Snow just yet, and really just saying how bad this defense is. Yes, it's supposed to be bad. It's been a work in progress. It's gotten better each game, and it was playing pretty damn well until it just fizzled out. Like, it just got bludgeoned too much by the end of the game.
Until people figured out what we were doing.
Yeah, and there's just too many weapons on there. We can't stop 3 Pro Bowlers every play on that, and then you turn around.
How many third and longs did we have? I don't care how bad your defense is. You know how the odds of a 3rd and 19 being converted?
Right.
You know how many times
that's
we have
one
defeated
play.
those odds
That
this
was
year?
one play.
No,
and
that has been all year.
No, the 3rd and 19 though is this today. Yes, you could say we've had some issues with that, but that one play today kind of just that and that run play make this game look like the defense was a big piece of shit the whole game, and I just think that is not fully the case. On top of that, my last point that I want to make is I think this defense can be fixed quickly in the next year or two. I think if you give Brian Burns a real tag team,
somebody to take attention,
you go and get somebody in free agency. There, you're going to have to do it through free agency and the draft. But I think if you can add one linebacker, one defensive end, and one corner, this defense shoots up a lot. Still problems at the safety position. How we'll ever fix the safety position in the wake of Mike Minter, I don't know. Now we turn the table to the offense. The Panthers, and let's keep this brief and then we'll get to the calls because I'm sure that they will guide us in our discussion. I tweeted this out after the first quarter or whatever, that DJ Moore touchdown. This is when I said Joe Brady's just showing off at this point. We were looking good offensively against a very, very good Bucs defense, and the fact that we could not run the ball today is no surprise. The Bucs always hold. They have probably the best run defense in the entire league. Curtis Samuel, though, looked like he was going to show out in this game, and then disappearing act in the second half, and it really was Teddy Bridgewater disappearing. You know, you were excited in that first half, though. DJ Moore, 4 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown, almost making it like 130 yards if that catch would have not been overturned. We were really and then, I mean, you got some contributions from this kid. I don't know, Trenton Cannon, whoever that guy is, out there running back on special teams. I thought
what
this
happened to
Panthers.
Harold Cooper?
That's a great question. He must be like on the COVID list or hurt or something because he was missing in action. But this Panthers offense that looked like it was ready to contend and happily playing ahead of the sticks like we know that they need to do. Even Teddy was pushing the ball down the field more, threw the moon ball, right? The ball that touched, I mean, it did touch the dang moon, but it landed. I mean, if you catch it, if it gets it done, you get it done. He was a little more downfield aggressive, it felt like, early. And then all of a sudden, it fizzled.
They stopped. Yeah, they stopped.
And I'm pretty sure everybody wants to say this. It was the offensive line that was the problem.
But
what do you guys?
The same offensive line in the first half. Same exact offensive line in the first half. So if you can put up those numbers in the first half, I don't want to hear excuses in the second half.
Here's the thing, and this is what I was saying. Until that injury that he got sacked on, that was the only sack he had the entire game. Like that was it. That was his only sack he took.
Right.
I don't care who you are as a quarterback. If you are considered elite, you get the ball where it needs. Like, let's look at Brian Burns. How quickly he gets to the quarterback, but he doesn't get home. And you know why that is? It's because these quarterbacks that we've been facing know how to get the ball to the receiver and which receiver they're going to because they've read the coverage. Teddy has not, he just doesn't have confidence in what he's doing, it looks like. Like, his confidence in his arm is not there because otherwise, even that, when we were down for a bit, and he still threw the 2-yard check down, the 5-yard check. That second half, right? He had
second quarter,
into the first half, like right there at the end. Like, he's not pushing the ball, and that's the problem. Is that he isn't even making an effort, even when he is getting pressured to do anything else.
Yeah, listen, my man Teddy Bridgewater is having a career year from behind the line of scrimmage, dude. Gotta love it, man. Shout out to him by any means necessary. Look, listen, defenses know how to clamp down on us. They'll put up with our bullshit for a little while, and then they're tired of the dinking and dunking, and they know how to adjust, and then they make us have to throw the football on 3rd and long, which makes Bridgewater have to connect on a miraculous play to DJ Moore downfield. And who knows if DJ is going to come up with it or not. So, I mean, at this point, I really don't know a whole lot of what else to say. I think when Mike Davis was in, he ran well like he always does. Then he had an injury. But listen, this offense is limited. Just like Tony was saying, what did you expect playing a defense that has so many Pro Bowlers and one of the best quarterbacks to ever play football? What do you reasonably expect from this defense? Well, now I'm saying the exact same thing of this offense. We know what they are. They're incrementally moving the football down the field with receivers that are yards after the catch receivers, making plays in space with the ball in their hand. Once that plan goes out the window, we are one of the most limited teams in the NFL. I don't care how good you think Teddy Bridgewater is. We have no other options. We have no aggression to our offense. And by the way, it doesn't matter who you want to put the blame on. If you want to put the blame on Teddy Bridgewater, great. I don't like him as a franchise quarterback either. You want to put it on the offensive line? Fine. Blame it on a football team that hasn't put premium offensive line talent outside of Taylor Moton on this football team in over 5 years now? Come on. I mean, it's a problem all the way around. We have piss-poor offensive line, and we have a piss-poor quarterback right now.
I want to address this comment. Lee Trotter says, sorry, but if you don't think our O-line is a problem, you clearly don't know shit about the Panthers. First, I think that knowing that the Panthers' offensive line has always been a weakness is par for course, right? I'm not trying to say the offensive line is one that you're supposed to be winning with all the time. I just think it's easy to say that the reason that we don't have offensive success is because the offensive line is just shit. And yeah, I mean, they're going against a team with a lot of pass rushers that are supposed to get after you. I just don't think they're as bad as people have oh my God, there was no chance for Teddy today. I saw plenty of opportunities for Teddy. And you know what? He capitalized on them in the first half for a large degree. How much time does he fucking need? Which I do understand. Look, I'm not trying to say they're good. I just don't think you can be like, well, man, if we had an offensive line, this game would have been won. I think there are problems at many levels on this team. Defense, offensive line, potentially some other things that we'll debate about. But that's kind of how I feel about it is like, again, did you expect for them to come out and be fantastic? I was really just not surprised by the outcome of this game, I don't think.
Hey, here's my question, Cody, because you're going to be the one to answer this. How long has it been since Deshaun Watson had an offensive line?
Never had one since he was at Clemson.
Maybe when he was
yeah.
a Clemson Tiger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take that same equation. He had star playmakers in Will Fuller and
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry. And guess what? He had a horrible offensive line, but he was still getting those guys the ball down the field.
Yeah, and making
in one of the
Deep
worst
down the
offensive
field.
with one of the worst offensive lines. And guess how many times that guy? Like you can go back and watch his highlights. When they are down, that guy puts that entire team on his back, and he gets that ball where it needs to be for his receivers. That is the difference. That is what you're saying. Like that's what I'm talking about. When you're talking about a franchise quarterback, you can sit there and you can actually compare. The Houston Texans are having a down year this year because guess what? They have no offense whatsoever. They have nobody to throw the ball to. We have one of the best wide receiver corps in the NFL, and that is largely regarded around the NFL by most everyone. And then we have Mike Davis and Christian McCaffrey. Even when Christian McCaffrey was in the lineup last week, he still wasn't doing enough to push the ball down the field. We were facing two good teams today. Right, we were, and listen. At the end of the day, it's not a bad thing that we lost in that respect because we were facing some of the best. Right, it can go any way with any of these. The problem is how we lost and the fact that there was still no change to how Teddy Bridgewater played his game.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony, can I throw all the Bridgewater people a bone real quick? Listen.
Oh yeah, they're here in the chat room talking about how we can win with Teddy with a better offensive line.
Let me throw them a bone real quick. Okay. If we're ranking them, is Teddy the biggest problem with this football team? No,
not at all. Not at all.
And no one has ever said
that.
All right. All I am saying, and all I feel that we are saying is that the quarterback is the most important position in football. If you don't have a dude, then even though Teddy Bridgewater might not be the main reason you lose a game, he's never going to be the reason that you win the game, and therefore it actually is the biggest problem that you have on your football team. That's why I'm going to continue to pound the table that in the offseason or during the draft, however it happens, we have to secure a franchise quarterback. It must be mission numero uno.
Yeah.
All right. So people are asking me this. They're asking me, did I do whippets during the game? Is that, first of all, we don't have the worst offensive line in the league. Cincinnati has the absolute worst offensive line in the league, and I would argue that Houston is right behind them. My next point is this, is what did you, going into this season or even 3 games ago, how about this, is that has this offensive line been really playing far below your expectations that it was supposed to be at this moment? No. Cody has said it, is that we have not invested a lot in it, right? We're not playing with Russell. Yeah, there's a ton of disappointments on that offensive line. I'm just surprised is that you're trying to tell me this offensive line is so shitty there was only 1 sack today. I would just expect that this offensive line would be giving up 9 sacks.
Yeah.
So I want to give them, I don't think that the collective, I am not surprised by the outcome of this game. I didn't think we should have won it to start with. We were going to win it. I was pleasantly surprised. We were coming out there and just like doing the things. We punched them in the face. I felt like this. I felt like it was a boxing match where you have a superior fighter, the champ, not the champ, but just say the guy who is just like the dude that's supposed to win the match. And this other guy comes out and fights well in the first round, fights well in the second round, fights well a little bit into the third, and you're like, man, but at the same time, you got 6 more rounds to go or 7 more rounds to go. And I just don't know if you can consist right now. We're just not a team that's at that point. So,
no.
Right.
And
I
no
mean,
one
I think we have
to be.
Right. So when I say that, is that like, no, it's not. I don't think that we are one piece away, folks.
Mm.
And
But
that's
if
what
that one
people
piece
who
of
say
quarterback
that
can make the
offensive
difference.
line is trash, we would be better. This would have been better. No, we gave up a couple of big plays. We're playing ahead of schedule this season, folks.
And also,
Darius said, "Get to the calls." He's tired of
I
listening.
want to ask one question before we do
Well,
it.
and
He
then,
must have called.
Okay, well, hold on. So we don't necessarily have to answer it right now, but I want us to be thinking about it and answer it at some point because we did get a good question in our chat room. Alex Christmas said, C3 crew, do y'all think it's possible / good idea to sign 10, 11, 12, Samuel Anderson and more, and Taylor Moton? I know the trade values with the wide receivers, but I think we should keep this trio if possible to build around. Yeah,
I think you're going to keep 2 or 3. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get to the calls. Keep that in mind, though. My initial answer, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his notebook? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yo, y'all need to put respect on Marty Herney. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. First round pick. And don't you ever dare say that Gamble is not a good pick on everything I love. Hey, you don't put some respect on Dennis Daly, who is a 6th round pick. Dog, I swear, man, fucking. And then, by the way, Patrick
This is a response to
takes
Tuesday
care
night.
of all the other picks 2 through 7 from now on. All we need is Herney to do his first round goatness, and then Stewart does the rest. That's why our draft 2020 was so perfect. Follows up QT0 right here.
Hey, it's been a while, guys, to listen to the podcast, but I think I will tune in today to see who we put the blame on for this one. I'd like to just start off by saying that the human reggae poster Trey Boston needs to find a new fucking career path, bro. Like, I don't
he's
think
getting
that
worse
guy
as the
can
season goes.
fucking
I agree with
tackle
that. comments
Tony
ago.
after trying to drink away his loss, dude. The guy's fucking garbage. Without Dante Jackson, our whole secondary just looks like ass and titties.
Even with him.
Jeremy Chin is the best player on it. Fucking Troy Pride Jr. is so overmatched by NFL receivers that it's not even fucking half amusing, dude. Trey Boston needs to fucking go. He's not the answer for this team at all. He's absolute fucking trash. If you guys put this on fucking Teddy Bridgewater or the offense in any way, I'm gonna fucking flip shit, dude. They went fucking 75%, 80% on third down against our defense. They put up 40 points on us after not even scoring a touchdown last week. You're fucking delusional. Absolutely fucking delusional if you think this has anything to do with the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, please let me take
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's not like you
I
have to
just wanna
play
hear how
offense
this
or
is
anything.
Please let me
During
take
a
it.
football
today, guys.
game,
Please let me know.
have to be delusional.
So,
Good
can I comment on that real
Lord,
quick?
man. Go ahead, dude. I can't. My head hurts.
Dude, you are 100% correct. 80% on third down, allowing that in defense is absolutely ridiculous. You know what else is ridiculous? 1 for 8 on third down for Carolina.
Boom.
That's ridiculous
You have
too.
to play
You
both
got
sides
to
of
play
the football.
offense to win the game. I'm not blaming just the offense, but I'm also not blaming just the defense. You're crazy if you think the offense didn't have some part in this loss too.
But you got to also agree that the offense had a big, like, you know, to, and not to let the defense off the hook here, But, and I'm on your side here, Greg, by the way.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if the offense can't stay on the field, which they didn't the second half, they didn't. We only got ball. The only reason we did anything the second half was because of an incredible kick return. That's it. But when you can't stay on the field and give your defense a rest, they are going to get gassed.
Exactly.
100%. Troy Pride, that run trying to catch Ronald Jones, absolutely. He's going to be exhausted after that. There's only so much Brian Burns can try to get to the quarterback, but as many times as they have to, and until frustration sets in. So you've got to keep in mind that as much as the defense did not hold their weight today, the offense contributed to that as well by not keeping on the field.
It's called complementary football. Your defense helps your offense, and your offense helps your defense. And listen, just a few minutes ago, we said that Teddy Bridgewater might not be the biggest problem on this football team. In fact, he definitely isn't. But for everyone trying to defend him, stop fucking pretending like he isn't a problem now. We're not saying he's the biggest, but stop admitting that he isn't a problem. He limits our offense in what's available to us. We cannot effectively threaten every level of the football field. And like Tony mentioned during the debate we did, all of our receivers run a low 4.4 or under. So it's like there's no he's been able to extend plays with his feet, move around a little bit. And how about this? This goes to Joe Brady as well. If you know that the pass rush is getting home and you don't have good protection, why not roll Teddy Bridgewater out? Give him some bootleg plays. Let him roll out of the pocket. Let's move our mobile players around. And
there's also one other giant weakness I think that we are underestimating too. Is I know, is that I don't care. I don't give a fuck what y'all think, actually. I do. I care about all the people in the chat so much. Smash the thumbs button, thumbs up, call in 252-228-5098. I actually do want to take your opinions, and I appreciate them. But really, again, one other thing we saw today that has been a continued problem for the Carolina Panthers, and yes, is it part on the offensive line? Certainly. But I think it's also part on just team play entirely. And coaching as well. We have not done well against the blitz. And today, Todd Bowles sent the blitz. And we struggled with it again. And yes, is it the offensive line's job to figure these things out right? Certainly. But it's not just as easy to say, this player sucked by himself. This player sucked. I thought that situationally there were times we've played pretty well. We're okay as an offensive line. We have continued. I said it last week. I'll continue to say it. Is that when the team blitz, we struggle. Everybody on the team. And I don't know, is that running back that's supposed to pick up that? Who's supposed to identify it? Is the center supposed to be doing a better job? There's a lot of moving parts out there. That's my point. And I do understand that the defense gave up some big plays today. Again, what do we expect, though? Really, is this game? I mean, it just kind of turned on a dime for us. Is that run and then the interception? So both sides of the ball lent towards the cascading loss for the Carolina Panthers. And the idea that we have to blame, or we should be blaming this loss on someone, really to me suggests that those people who are saying those words have heightened expectations for this team that I don't know should have been there. Is that do you blame anybody for losing against a team that was superior today? I don't really. I mean, it's kind of hard. I would blame an inferior team.
But losing like we did is the problem.
Isn't that a loser mentality, though? Don't you feel like you can go out there and win every game? You want to root for a team that you feel like.
I don't think I can go beat Mike Tyson up, though.
I maintain if fans have a little bit of patience and see the forest through the trees, this is the best thing that could happen. I feel so much better. And I don't care if people hate me or get mad that I turn heel. What fucking ever, man. If we lose every single game the rest of this season, that is my dream scenario for this year. And I'm not going to want to fire Rule or Brady or whoever. I understand that this is a rebuild year, and I'm going to be a fan of this team for years down the road. So in order for us to have a good next 5-10 years, I'm okay with this being the one where we rebuild. I can't really judge the coaches. The coaches are doing the best with what they have. I think it's fair to put the blame on them when they don't deliver, which is what Greg wants to do. And I think it's fair what Tony and I do whenever they, make it a competitive contest with the Super Bowl champion Chiefs, that we should also give them credit for that performance. Either way, I believe in what they're building for the future, and I think our team has a lot of heart. We're just missing a few pieces.
If the Carolina Panthers went out and won this game today and moved to 4-6, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fell to 6-4 with 2 losses, one where there was a blowout and one say they let slip through their hands, are we really going to be talking about how the Panthers are about to try to make a run for the playoffs and into the Super Bowl? Or are we more talking about the Bucs being a fucking disaster at that point? I think it's the latter, and I think that this was the outcome. I mean, I'm just not taken aback by any of it. They're supposed to have better everything at this point. It's supposed to be like this. In fact, I think the fact that we played those first 2 quarters as hard and close we did, and even on the defense on the third, our offense shuts down in the third quarter every week, and our defense ain't much better. It seems like. Let's go back to the calls. 252-228-59.
Real quick. He's all right. Wait, hold on. He already asked me 2 times. Let me answer Alex Christmas, because he wants to know my thoughts on his previous question, and I think it is a good question. He wants to keep Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel. And this is my honest thing. I believe that you build championship football teams from the inside out. So we have no bigger priority, if you're asking me, which you are, than signing Taylor Moton. In fact, it should have already been done. As far as receivers, look at how many receivers come out in the draft every year that go in the 3rd and 4th round that are just balling. Look at Chase Claypool for the Steelers right now. They picked him up in like the 3rd or 4th round. I would prefer that if we're going to pay a receiver, that we should pay DJ Moore. And I maintain that if we're not going to keep everyone, then we should have taken the opportunity to trade Curtis Samuel while there was, 1, a receiver market, and number 2, while you had the opportunity to get something for him to build for your future draft. So would I like for that set to be together for a while? Absolutely. I think those receivers are dynamic. I think that we missed their time because we never got them a consistent quarterback to be able to do all of those things. So I do not want to pay all those receivers, and I think we have to pay.
I think DJ is the cheaper option right now for 1 more year, and then you're asking, do we even keep him? Some people will be asking that. Shout out to Theo Osborne for the super chat. He says, I don't know how many weeks in a row I can point out our front 7 being a problem. No leaders on defense, and I'm ready to die on the hill. Why did we draft Derek Brown? Wow. It's not an illegitimate thing to point out, particularly with the front 7 just not being it. And I think I'm kind of leaning with CK on this, that the real weakness is just in that linebacker core. That's kind of how I feel. You saw what the 2 best linebackers in the league did today, and that's why they shut down the run. It's not just their front 4 that's killing the run. It's because they got a front 4 that plays assignment football and getting pressure, winning their battles because they're, they got Shaq Barrett. They've got a lot of people. They got JPP who's having a great year. But then they got 2 badass fucking linebackers that bear down on you. We don't have that. I mean, we have one linebacker in Shaq that at times we think can be okay against a run, or I don't know. And then we got another one that just looks like a damn idiot out there. And I'm sorry, I hate to say that about people because I don't play professional football, and you can say, well, you don't. But I don't know what Tired Whitehead is doing. Like, every time they run the ball, he just randomly picks
a side of the line and
I
just
love that.
runs right into the ass of one of our defensive
Every
tackles.
time.
Like,
Oh
it doesn't
my
make
God.
any sense. It's like, he doesn't even look at the damn running back.
Dude,
Can
I
I
get so
speak-
frustrated watching him play.
Can I speak about Derek Brown for a minute?
Yes, please.
Listen, people want to be like, oh, Cody, you wanted Isaiah Simmons, and he can't even crack the rotation and everything. Fine, dude, whatever. But if you listen to the reasons why I said I didn't want Derek Brown, it's for this very reason right here. Listen, Derek Brown is a nose tackle, y'all. I'll say it again. Derek Brown is a nose tackle. If you're expecting him to be in the backfield on every play, getting sacks, blowing it up like Aaron Donald, like, you're just mistaken, and it means that you never knew what kind of player Derek Brown actually is. He was not a 3-tech pass rusher like a lot of people wanted. His primary function from now and moving forward will be a space eater to eat up double teams in the middle of the trenches. That's all he will ever be. I don't value that with a top 10 pick. That's why I disagreed with Derek Brown at the time. But, he's ours now. He's our first-round pick. And I do think that he is a very important piece for our defense to build around going forward. But you all have to manage your expectations and what you want from Brown.
I like that take, because it's not that he's doing a bad job or a poor job, right? Sometimes not hearing a defensive tackle's name isn't a bad thing. We get frustrated because he does have these, penalties that come up, encroachment or, whatever, else he's had over the past few weeks. But not hearing his name isn't the end of the world. But here's what I'll also say, guys. Keep in mind that for every, there is a ripple effect to if we did not pick Derek Brown. Let's say we picked Isaiah Simmons and we're having the same issue that the Cardinals are having of being able to even justify putting him into the game, right? Well, guess what? We wouldn't have picked Chin. Now we wouldn't have Chin back there. Now we would have had
and we would have given up 400 yards rushing today.
Maybe our linebackers would have been better.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we're doing the whole what if my aunt.
No.
What if my
our linebackers would not be better if we Oh, you mean if we got Isaiah? Okay, I see what you're saying. I was like, gosh.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that maybe our situation is better now, right?
I agree.
Because
I think so.
Brown.
I think. Why do you think Brian Burns is having a good year? I don't think
starters on our defense right now because of this draft, right? Let's put that in perspective. The Cardinals don't have that,
and that's why I would say easy on the Troy Pride stuff. Is like he really not supposed to be playing. I know that you got to play when your number's out there. Anyway, let's go back to calls. 252-228-5098.
C3, Panther Nation. It's your boy Jaden. I've been quiet and positive enough. I love what I'm seeing from Matt Rule and what I'm seeing from Brady, even with the battle line. And I love what I'm seeing from Chase Blackburn. But Phil Snow, dude, this 3-man front shit has got to go. You doing 3-man fronts on 3rd and 3 and getting burned. 3-man front on 3rd and 19 and getting fucking burned. Like, that play was the worst. You have everybody in zone coverage, and the underneath zone coverage is at 20 yards deep on 3rd and 19. Just giving up all the intermediate throws. And if you give up an intermediate throw, it's only like another 9 yards, and you get the first down. And the first defense that's even close doesn't get to the guy until almost 5 yards from the first down, and then there's finally someone there. That's atrocious. This defense was looking horrible. I know Dante's out or whatever, but that's been the case all year. You can't expect Troy Pride to cover any of these receivers or Elder. Neither one of them are good enough. I don't knock Pride at all. He's a 4th-rounder. He's learning.
Shit, we can barely. We should be thankful Rasul is not even getting toasted more than he was.
Shaq had a few decent plays, and the rest he looked god-awful on his run defense. He is just horrible. He takes bad angles. He waits for the play to come to him. I mean, it's atrocious. And the Phil Snow, dude, the 3-man front is god awful and it's got to go. You've got to send fucking blitzes. You just have to. You're playing 8 back and you can't even stop with that. I mean, it's not. more bodies back there is not going to help. Just the defensive scheme altogether, I don't think having better players will help it. It's a bad scheme. I don't see how this.
I don't think he's going to do that if he had two defensive ends that could
do
something.
Time and I tried to look at it different, but it's straight scheme wrong. It's bad. That soft zone, putting 8 back in coverage and rushing 3, you're not. It's just horrible. And I knew that 98-yarder. I didn't know it was going to be a 98-yard touchdown, but I knew we were going to give up a first down and let him out of there with a run play, knowing it's coming. There's another play where on the 4th and 3. They put Trey Boston all the way back, like almost like a power turner, on 4th and 3. It's all about numbers. You can't make the numbers game worse by putting him deep. It made absolutely no fucking sense. I mean, they did a quick little slant, but if they'd have ran it, we already took one guy out of the whole play. And even for the slants, I mean, if he hadn't got tripped up,
we know Arians can be aggressive.
Barely gets tripped up.
I don't know.
And Trey Boston, who was way back in coverage, probably wouldn't have got there in time to stop him for the touchdown. It's just horrible calling. I don't like our corners being 8 yards off the ball either.
Well, welcome to Panther Nation. They've been 8 yards off the damn ball for the last 10 years. But here, guys, we're talking about the scheme, right, as being this handicap. How many players on this defense played on this team last year? 3?
No. Well, can we say this first?
Not a lot, yeah.
Like, can we say, like, we all agree on this, I feel. Like, okay, we're all hoping that we're correct in our assessment that we're only playing that because we just don't have better personnel and we essentially feel like we have no choice. That's been my best guess. But let's just run with this notion that, like, this is going to be something that Phil Snow wants to do and wants to continue to do. Then, yeah, we're in complete agreement. That's some Big 12 level college football bullshit. Like, I think it has its place, but you have to have some bad boys in your trenches in order to be able to consistently win just rushing 3 and dropping 8 back into coverage. So, we kind of give this excuse for them that it's on our talent. And God, I hope it is. Like, I hope that is.
It is. It is. Have confidence in that statement. You already heard CK say, look at how many times we got burnt for big plays, right? Yeah. Is that the idea is that it's 3rd and 19. I don't know. I know that we're going to say that you don't like the play call, but I don't like the execution by the players. Like, how the fuck aren't y'all quicker to the ball? Why aren't you more aware of the situation? And I'm not, again, we don't know the difference. Like, there's a line. It's like a sliding scale between coaches and players, like where it was. I'm interested to see this. Tell me who our other defensive end is. How about that? If we can run out there, who is it? So what? Well, all right. So you're talking about a rookie coming off an injury. Right? Yep. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, is that like we're talking about Gross Matos and Obata. That's it. A rookie who's barely played.
The only sack today.
I just don't think it's like, man, like you really put this player on the sideline who, I don't know.
But no,
I want to think a lot about, I think our defense today was the stat sheet. I mean, yes, they were a problem. They were a big fucking problem. But I don't know else. Like, did you expect Mike Evans to not eat a big fucking dinner right in front of you? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do against Mike Evans? Well, who? Oh, man. Like, I mean, like, what? Rasul Douglas can't do shit, and we got Trey Boston. Come on.
I agree with you, Tony, but once again, like I don't understand that line, that sliding scale like you're talking about. Like for me, it just blows my mind how in one hand people can say
it can't be either or. That's what I mean by that. It can't be players only and coaches only. It's a little of both. And I don't know
both. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when it crosses over, you know what I'm saying, to where you could say that was coaching or that was, that gray area. Where it's
but it gets to the argument of the players lacking talent. That has to be coaching, right?
I've been telling you, bums and rookies.
You're the guys who put them there.
Bums and rookies.
Like, Hold up. In our chat, the Dakota adds to this. Okay. He goes, interesting note from Matt Rule earlier. The Ronald Jones 98-yard touchdown was the same play Leonard Fournette burned the Panthers for 46 yards in week 2. So it was the same play, and they knew it. And then Rasul Douglas said, we knew what play they were running. Shaq only screamed it out like 30 times. So apparently they knew the play was coming. They expected that play. So they practiced for that play.
And to hear Whitehead still did.
And it's two people. It's tired Whitehead and the Rastafarian Trey Boston. Both were problems there. Both were problems. You can't tell me that tired Whitehead gets to randomly pick a side of the line he just wants to run into without even caring if the ball's there. He doesn't even look for a defender. He just runs into his own players. And then that's the same side that Trey Boston is leaning to? Why?
Y'all see he's wearing that C on his jersey too? Whitehead.
All right. Here, let's go to the next call.
Also, I just want to add one more thing, or ask one more thing, rather. Can we quit pretending that this offensive line that failed Cam Newton the last 3 years and put him through how many surgeries and fucking season-ending injuries is good enough for Bridgewater to stand behind?
It's not.
I just
no, it's not.
Literally fucking blindsided. Without Okung on the left side, we are fucking butt. We are butt on the left side.
Hey,
Bailey can't do it. Little can't do it.
All right.
We get blown up on the weak side every single time.
True. Look, is that really, if anything, I feel like what we saw is over the last couple of weeks that this, and I asked Joe Person this in the Athletic Q&A, I think is that given the fact that we have been up and down on Greg Little, right, and mostly down, right, but there's been a couple of times where you say, man, he really came in this season. He's playing a little bit better. You know, they've highlighted on some different plays this season when he came in. He had a bad game, but then he responded the next week. We thought he got benched, and then he responded and had a good game. And then he's disappeared. I think that implies something about the evaluation of our coaching staff on Little, and I think they're moving on from him. I think that's the first statement. The second statement is that the sacks, Teddy is great with getting the ball away quick, but there are a couple of times where he holds on to it, but those sacks too that he's taken, he just thinks he can continue to maneuver the pocket entirely. What do you expect? What do you expect with a damn 6th-round pick at left tackle or whatever? I don't know.
It sucks. It sucks, man. And again, I don't care if people think I toot my own horn, dude. I do. I toot my own fucking horn, bro. In my draft process, when I graded Greg Little, I didn't like him. I didn't think he was a franchise left tackle. I thought he was soft. And then, of course, Marty Herney trades up into the 2nd round to pick him. In fact, there's something funny. Our former assistant GM, Brandon Bean, there's a clip of him in the Buffalo Bills war room. The Panthers moved ahead of the Buffalo Bills. They thought we were going to draft Cody Ford. That's the tackle that they wanted. And they saw us move up, and they're like, fuck, there goes Cody Ford. And then when
they moved up in front of us and got Cody Ford.
No, you are wrong. And you're ruining my story. Greg Little, they moved up. So then the Panthers.
Was it the year before then? What was the year before that they jumped in front of us and then we got Moten?
No, that was for Moten. But the Panthers moved up for Greg Little. And it shows Brandon Bean and the other guys that's around him. It shows their face. When they read off Greg Little, they're like, oh, hell yeah, man. Fucking.
And you were high on Cody Ford back then too. I remember.
Dude, he's such a beast. And by the way, he is a badass for the Buffalo Bills right now. So it's Bro, we have to get rid of Marty Herney, man. I don't care if I have to say it every episode from now until the fucking day that he's gone. I'm on the hill with him just like I was with old Riverboat, man. It's time for him to go.
Next call.
It's 4th and 9. PJ Walker's in. Let's witness the Walker Wonder. Oh, man, never mind. It's happening in real time, y'all.
You know that when P.J. Walker had that and they were like, man, he's really got to learn in the NFL defensive players have whatever. You heard the commentators say that. P.J. was putting on moves, bro. He was so close to getting away from that, man. So they said this. He was like, damn, he pulled out everything in the kitchen cabinet there. He was juking and jiving, trying to stay alive. All right, next call.
What's going on, C3 Nation? It's your boy Jay Anderson. Yep. Man, I'm so glad I have no emotions for this season. I'm glad I just, took all my emotions for this team out for this season. I'm just watching, just to watch. This is the first time I had no emotions for a season since 2011. But then,
yeah.
With Cam Newton and the squad playing so good, the emotions just comes up. But anyway, man, give it to them. They play good. They play good in the first quarter and somewhat in the second half. But after that whole not clocking the ball after the catch, I don't care if he caught it or not. You, as a quarterback and as a coach, man, you don't have to be in the NFL long to know that you have to clock that. You have to clock after that.
Yeah, man.
Catch, man, non-catch. College, high school, coaches teach quarterbacks that, and quarterbacks should know. Teddy been in the league for a long time to know you have to clock that. You have to go and clock that ball.
Situational football.
Of course, Whitehead, trash. Missing out on that. He missed that tackle. He went into, when that dude scored that 98-yard touchdown, it was like he went into the pile. I'm like, dude, like he just got off. Third quarter it just really got out of hand. At the times, man, like anybody, you can't blame the offensive line. I know everybody used to want to blame the offensive line. You can't blame the offensive line. The offensive line tried to do everything they do. Teddy threw that interception, and it wasn't the offensive line fault, it is what it is. But hey, just waiting for the season to be over with. All right, y'all be easy.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Real quick in the chat, J-Dub says, how could they clock it when there was a defensive penalty for delay a game?
Yeah, defense, because the guy was laying on top of DJ Moore.
Oh, that's a good point.
They could have ran to the line and as soon as it was set up and clock it because they got to the line and
I think the frustration
call timeout.
I think the frustration is that they took so long at the line to actually hike the ball.
They didn't have to spike it. They didn't just want to play. Exactly.
That's called situational football. That in a given moment, if A happens, we know to do B. Okay, so if there's a contested play like that, and one, that the opposing offense, you're facing Tampa. Like what Tony said earlier, we have a lot that our defense has to go up against. So the minute you make a play like that and you're driving, trying to beat the clock anyway, like, why aren't you hurrying the fuck up? And by the way, all of that blame goes evenly to both the coaches and Teddy Bridgewater. Our coaches should have known and should have been signaling for Teddy to hurry up, and Teddy should have known to hurry up in that scenario.
Blame too is that it would have just been great if they didn't overturn it. I thought that they went.
I think they were going to.
I didn't think so either. I thought it was you could tell it should be overturned, but I didn't feel like it was clear and obvious. You know how so much they need to see. I thought there was enough hiddenness to it
Never leave it in the hands of the referees. Ted, you should have known better.
I know he should have called it. He should have called it. I know, but still,
Yeah,
I mean, like
100%.
it was tough catch, tough all of that. I mean, he was like, all right, next call.
Okay, it looks like Tampa is in the victory formation. Don't think we're going to see any more of P.J. Walker. I just want to let you know this is JJ of the P.J. Walker fan club.
Uh-oh. All right.
And I don't think Teddy's coming back next week, at least not for this week. That knee injury looked a little bad. And so we will be able to experience a full game of the great P.J. Walker.
Or Will Greer.
Witness the Walker wonder. It's about to happen. The future is next.
I like it. I like it.
You guys forget. I mean, they've
one
seen
more
a few
thing,
snaps
man.
of- Will Greer could very well be the starter next week. If that's the case.
Dude, and you know what I hate so
But
bad?
why Will
man?
Greer though? Why would they put PJ Walker in the last two times?
They've been
Bridgewater's gone out
alternating.
if they're gonna.
They've been alternating. Like either PJ Walker's been inactive or Will Greer's been inactive. One of the two.
But okay, I guess that makes sense. Because I've never seen Will Greer come in. I've seen PJ Walker come in twice now.
Yeah, every time that
So-
Teddy's gone down, PJ's been the
active
one that's
guy.
not
We're
been
all
active.
cheering
I
for
just
PJ.
say-
We all want an XFLer to come in and be the next. We're all looking for the next Kurt Warner.
No, we're not. We're not, though. And can I just say we're playing the Lions and the Vikings? It hurts because, like, dude, I wouldn't say either of those are particularly good football teams. Like, dude, what if my man JJ gets his wish and PJ Walker does come in and just start fucking throwing dots around the football field,
Yeah,
man?
that's not gonna happen. He
You know
ain't
the
that
problem
good,
though,
bro.
if he does that, you know
He's
the
cool.
problem.
I mean, I'm
is that
rooting
they
for
would-
him, but like, come on.
They would still put Teddy Bridgewater back in, even if we were having an incredible start, like an incredible series of games without him.
They better.
Well,
paid
he's
him
not supposed. You're not
$26
supposed to lose your
million.
job to. Yeah, and you're not supposed to lose your job to injury, right? Or at least that's what they say.
You're not supposed
That's kinda
to, but
rule
it
thing.
happens.
Happened to
It
Cam
does.
Newton.
How'd Tom
It
Brady
does.
get started?
All right.
You
All
know,
right, let's go back to the calls.
Like that.
Oh,
You
I
know,
guess I gotta
one
rewind
couple
it to
of
the
you know
beginning.
one.
Come
Justin
on,
Herbert and Tyrod Taylor.
Oh yeah, one more thing, man. I don't want to leave on a negative note, but you know, hope Teddy gets well. You know, hope he gets well after that injury. No, never want to see a player get injured or nothing like that.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, one positive thing I give it to is Brian Burns just been, Brian Burns played his ass off, and when he been, on the sidelines getting at his teammates, hyping his teammates up, man, that was good to see. I liked seeing that. So, but holla at y'all, man. Y'all be.
KJ Longway says, I can't wait for PJ to go on a 4-game win streak, and we bet for Teddy to be traded Kyle Allen style. Oh, man, because remember we traded Kyle. We got more value for Kyle Allen than we did for Cam Newton. Just remember that. If you want to add anything else to the Marty Herney resume, that might be a good one to add.
Yeah,
next call.
It might be a good
brothers,
one.
how y'all doing? This is G Cavassier. Man,
What
that
up,
game
G?
was horrible, man. I thought we was gonna win this game too. We started off good, but just like Panther football in the year 2020, we could not finish a fucking game to save our lives, man. I don't get it, man. And like I told y'all before, my opinion, once the season is over, get rid
Hold
of
on.
Phil
Let
Snow.
me pause this. I want to pause this because he's about to get into Phil Snow, and that's going to be the important part of the call for the discussion that's been going on, I think, is how does I don't understand how this is going to happen. I think this is that when you are a team that is not the superior, you don't have the superior players at that moment, right? Where you're outmatched at every level. And let's be honest. I mean, what is the level that we're not outmatched against when it comes to the Bucs? Somebody tell me which one.
to be truly honest with you, our wide receivers have better yards and like a and I think overall catches than the wide receivers do on the Bucs. Believe it or not.
Do you
I'll have to
think
look it up.
that our receiver core is better than theirs?
No. No,
Okay,
I don't think
that's
I think they
it.
have better
Like,
stats. I don't think they're better.
Do we really think that there's a place that we have like a clear advantage?
If we had McCaffrey in, I think McCaffrey would be that
All right,
one point.
So when you are the team that is the underdog and the rightful underdog, the only way to win is for everything to go right.
Yeah.
And that includes the other team not everything going right. So I think it's very understandable. Like, even I think the problem is we get our hopes up because we are so competitive, because we are playing so hard, and then we go, oh wait, mistake, 98-yard touchdown, interception. There's the game, right? All right, keep going back. I'm going back to Gino.
His defense is horrible, man. You seen that one play? They were 3-19. They converted on 3-19. Come on, y'all. And then Jones ran a 98-yard fucking touchdown. Come on, man. That dude had like 190-something rushing yards. That's horrible defense. Our defense is a damn joke, man. It really is. And then Teddy got hurt. Hopefully he's good and everything like that. But honestly, Teddy is not the future. I'm going to be the first fan to say this shit. I like Teddy, but to me, he is not the future.
You ain't the first fan to say it, bro.
Honestly, I'm just tired of losing, y'all. I really am, man, because we have a good team, man. It's just that we're just not clicking. The defense is horrible. Something has to damn change, y'all. Something has to change come this off season. So give me your thoughts on that. And always remember, y'all, keep pounding.
Love you, J, man. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not the first fan to not think
he's on the
that
front
Bridgewater
lines, though. Let's put it that. Is there fans that are on the front lines, and he's on the front line?
It's funny because I feel like a lot of the real frontliners, like, were the ones that were like us, that were getting all kinds of bullshit for being on the Teddy Ain't It train too early. You know, oh, you're bad fans. And if it, by the way, I'm not saying that G wasn't one of the first, but I feel like he's pretty positive. He's always looking on the bright side about the football
Not with
team.
this defense. 2 weeks in a row, G is called in, and he is on Phil Snow's ass. And there hasn't been, you've heard it today, there's been lots of reasons for that perspective. Right? It's not an unrealistic perspective to say the problem, the big, and like you said, if we were going to rank the top. Actually, how about this? Let me ask you this. What's a bigger problem, the offensive line or the defense?
Defense, I think, because you can fix the offense. Look, you can fix the offensive line with a better quarterback. And like I said, not saying Teddy's a terrible quarterback, but we were talking earlier about how he's
quarterback. No quarterback talk. We're fixing the offensive line with offensive line players and the defense with defensive line play. Who's the worst unit? And that's kind of hard to say because you're talking about this. What's better? What about this? Offensive line or defensive line? Which is better?
Defensive line is better.
Defensive line is better than our offensive line.
Again, and I'll underline this all day, every day, and then and we can tie this back to Phil Snow however you feel it needs to be, but our defensive line can be as good as it possibly can be. But if our linebackers can't cover the middle of the field or the flats, there's nothing. There's nothing you can do. You can't. I mean, you can literally have nobody block you to the quarterback. But if your wide receivers are beating your secondary every play, you're going to have a ball out in 2 seconds, and that's what's been happening. If you go back and watch the time to release, all the quarterbacks we faced have gotten the ball out very quickly. Today, Tom Brady maybe held on to the ball a little bit longer, and I think that has a lot to do with, by the way, why I think we should be focusing on in the draft a star offensive lineman. Wirfs is the real deal.
Yeah, he is one dude. And so listen, Brian Burns has been killing fools with that spin move, right?
Wirfs was holding on to it.
Dude, Wirfs is a big athletic freak of nature. And, bro, he gave Brian Burns I mean, he essentially shut him down, even on the times that they were one-on-one. I mean, listen, as a UFC fan, as a fight fan, a knockout's a knockout. And if that was a one-on-one fight, my man Worth won that battle, dude.
Yeah.
He is a legitimate franchise tackle.
100%. Anyway, but that's, outside of that, I think that's the problem with our defense. It's not our defensive line. They could probably be better on certain parts of it, but if you're asking which one's worse, it's 100% the offensive line.
I think that is that I don't know if Moten. I mean, I just feel like Moten to Burns is pretty comparable. I guess if you guys are saying that Derek Brown is really good or really bad, that's I guess I don't think either are great. That's a good question. I mean, it's a tough question, right? But I think this is right now. I think that the defense has more problems. It's easier to fix a 5-man unit than it is an 11-man unit. It just is. And the defense has got some ways to go. I think it's possible, though. I think you add a better linebacker besides Shaq, it elevates maybe his play. We're stuck with Shaq, folks, so you better learn to love him.
No, you don't. I don't think Shaq. I don't think we replace Shaq, right? Shaq.
Right. What I'm saying is you got to keep Shaq. Yeah, is you get another linebacker that helps elevate Shaq.
You replace Whitehead. Whitehead is the rot that is causing this defense to decay.
I think you're right. I agree with that. I agree with Whitehead and really is just an outmatched secondary. Outmatched, under-talented secondary. And the fact that I'm embarrassed that I like Rasul Douglas so much.
Why does it embarrass you?
Because he's not somebody I should like. He should be somebody that I talk junk about, like Trey Boston or something. But he's like the best. It's like if you go out, I don't know, if you bring home. He's like the prettiest ugly girl to me.
I was about to say, I feel like the reason you like him so much is because you don't like that a guy who before the season wasn't even on our team, that we had no idea would be a legitimate starter for us, is right
the
now
best guy in the secondary.
Yeah, like the best.
That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. I'm embarrassed that he. Oh. All right, next.
By the way, it wasn't Dante Jackson, not Eli Apple, who we brought in to sign, not even one of our draft picks. It's Rasul Douglas.
I hope he's on the team next year. I really do. I think he could be a very good complementary piece.
Yes.
What's going on, Steve? Podcast. Hope you boys doing good.
Why is this so?
Outside of this total annihilation of a football game that we just witnessed, man. This is Rude Boy Music from Twitter. Listen, man. Damn. I mean, I could nitpick, I could say a million things that we've already discussed for the entirety of the season. But let me just get into like a quick few things. Remember, some Panther fans were screaming and begging for Trey Boston to be resigned. And I really never understood why. And we essentially chose Trey Boston over Eric Reed. I really hate how this organization has, in today's passing league, has devalued the safety position. Like it's just mind blowing at this point. Like all Trey Boston does is take poor angles. We're not going to even talk about Tahir Whitehead. Like we cannot get any pressure up front outside of Brian Burns and himself. Like we just don't have the manpower to hold up in the back end like that. It is what it is. We essentially chose to pay Shaq Thompson middle linebacker money to still be playing outside linebacker over re-signing all-pro cornerback, and which, of course, we need because, of course, again, Dante Jackson is struggling with his toe, and I don't even think he would have made a difference out there anyway. So, yeah. Now, this is what I really wanted to get to. We all know about the defense, but I really wanted to talk about Teddy Bridgewater because it's really fans out there that have it in their mind that this dude is a franchise quarterback, and they try to cherry pick the most garbage stat of all time, which is his passing yards. But they fail to mention how many yards he passed for the third and fourth quarter, which is pretty much non-existent. He pretty much is rendered useless in the second half. His touchdown to interception ratio is, I mean, man, it has to be bottom of the league. I'm pretty sure. I have to look up the stats, but Jesus. I mean, the dude, this dude has not elevated this team in any way, shape, or form. And they want to give him the grace of, as if he's a rookie quarterback, which I'm not understanding. If you pay a guy $63 million and you believe that he's the franchise quarterback, he's been in this league for 6 years, then he has to show you that he's a franchise quarterback. You don't give him the same grace as
and before we get out, because I'm going to let you respond to the call, I do want to say this is I love everybody's support. Particularly, I want Carolina Brandon Herbert to be part of this community. I do. I love when he's a part of it. But I don't think the go-to line when we disagree with people is that you don't know anything about football.
Yes, exactly.
I just don't feel like that. Like, all right, is that and again, expert football fan, not expert football expert. But I just don't feel like that's the go-to line. You know,
it's an easy answer. It's the easy thing. It's
Go
the
ahead.
easy thing to say to not have to defend your position beyond just a few syllables. That's really what it is.
And by the way, he agreed with me on Derek Brown not being worth a top 10 pick. Oh, so then I know a little bit about football when you agree with me, right? But not when we mention all the other stuff that you don't like. Listen, it's becoming everybody's going to have to jump on this train at some point. If you want to be on the caboose and get on at the tail end and try and hop on before it leaves the station, fine, be my guest. I've been on this thing. Greg has been on this thing. We have been on this train. And if you want to say that we don't know football because we're pointing out the obvious, then I don't know, man. You might need a mirror to look at.
All right, now respond to the call, Cody. Or do you want me to play it again?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so listen, how about this? I usually reserve this saying for Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm going to say it about Trey Boston. He is who we thought he was. Do you remember the first time that we cut Trey Boston? What one of the biggest critiques of him was?
Oh, he was fucking horrendous. He could not tackle anybody.
Can't tackle for shit.
Nothing.
And so it's not.
He's actually gotten better. If you think he's bad now, you should have seen him 5 years ago. He was fucking awful.
and bro, like he is who I thought he was. Trey Boston is actually a good safety when he's allowed to play the ball in the air. Okay? That is when he thrives.
He's okay. Trey Boston is one of those players. There are certain players we love to dump on these players. But CK has kind of been one of these people with Shaq that is like this, is that they're not as bad as we make them. But you can't they play better when around better players. Right? Yeah. CK has always said that Shaq thrives when he's in a surrounded by players that are better than him. I feel like Trey Boston's like that. He can't be the best person back there. And he's not. Don't worry. He's not. Rasul Douglas is.
Yeah. Basically, when you've put Shaq on this pedestal of this is what we live up to.
Right.
Well, now, when it was Luke Kuechly here, we all were like, yeah, these guys are trying to work their way to be at that same level. Yeah. You're not getting that right now because there is nobody at that level that you're going to put your mindset into. Like, you're not going to buy into their.
And there's complementary players, and there are core players. And Trey Boston is a complementary player. You put him back there with a couple of good corners, and then he goes has a Pro Bowl year like he did in San Diego, now Los Angeles, right? But when he's the best dude back there, like that, you are only. I mean, it's just. I'm sorry. All right, continue. Sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting. That's how I feel. I feel like this. I want to hate on Trey Boston, but like, damn, like he is Cody,
who we thought he was.
Yeah,
he is who we thought he is.
Yeah,
and by the way, I can use it. Derek Brown, he is who I thought he was. And by the way, if that, I mean, to me, that's pretty good. Like he's been stout. He doesn't have a lot around him. I don't blame all of our. Like a lot of people are doing this thing where, oh, whenever someone runs up the gut, oh, well, look at Derek Brown not being worth the shit.
Don't worry, folks. Derek Brown is going to prove his salt. He's going to, in 2 years, you just got to put somebody beside him. It cannot just be Brian Burns. I'm
100%.
sorry.
100%.
He is.
That's
Brian
why
Burns is a star, but he's still not a guy alone who can. I mean, no defensive star alone can make a defensive line. I'm just sorry, and I don't even think he's fully where he's gonna be. What I'm most excited about Brian Burns is he's getting better. He's getting better, man. Yeah. Like every week, and I'm not saying he was bad. I would just say this is that you don't want Michael Jordan to be what he was on day one and at the final day. I always tell my smartest students, like, it's not about just being good at the beginning. Like, we need to be better by the end. And so Brian Burns is on that progression. That's what's exciting. You throw another guy in there like that, and then you start rotating him with Gross Matos, then we're cooking with gasoline. Maybe we're going to be really sad if we draft another fucking defensive tackle. Everybody's going to fucking cry.
Hey, real quick, we got 61 people watching right now and 33 thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. Or hey, if you think we're dumb, hit the dislike button. Interact. Show us some emotion. Hit the thumbs up. Man, support what we do. Hit the notification bell. Listen, man, if this season goes the way you think it's going to go, you're going to need these Panther sessions, your Panther psychiatric specialist, to come and make your Sundays better after the Panthers lose in miserable fashion. So hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Come on, you already know what to do.
The number's 252-228-5098. Let's go ahead and jump into the next call.
What up, C3? It's your boy Mike.
Supreme
Hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday.
Best as we can.
That game, I think, solidifies Cody's point, Greg's point.
Ooh.
I mean,
a lot of points. Why can't I get some love?
We look good starting out. We did. Teddy was 13 for 13, and I had hope.
Yeah.
And then the shit went downhill. So, just one thing. The people talking about firing Phil Snow, get the hell out of here. It's his first
I'm
year.
not saying that yet.
Give him a break. You guys are ridiculous. Keep down Panther Pride till I die.
Thanks, Supreme Lita. Next call.
Man. Y'all keep making excuses for this sorry-ass bitch motherfucker, Teddy the Fraud Bridgewater. And man, now his fragile ass is injured too. Well. What y'all got to say? Y'all gonna make excuses? Come on, let's hear them. Let's fucking hear them. Let's hear the goddamn excuses. Let's hear the nonsense. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Well, his completion percentage, what? Fools, we ain't winning games. I don't give a fuck about your completion percentage. Win some fucking games.
Say it, Josh.
Get a solid offense around you. Yeah, the O-line is kind of piecemeal. It's got some problems. But, man, good quarterbacks know when to throw the ball away. great quarterbacks can make a play when there doesn't seem to be one. Teddy doesn't do either one of those. Never has, never will. He's a bridge quarterback. That's all he is. Until we draft a quarterback this year in the first round. And by the way, folks, yes, oh yes, we will be high enough in the draft to pick a quarterback, a.k.a. the future of the franchise. That will allow us ample cap space to sign offensive line talent or offensive weapon talent to surround him. You know how successful teams have done it? I mean, the blueprint's been out there for, I don't know, the better part of 5 decades. And the clowns who think that, you know, paying some interim quarterback big money is the way to win Super Bowls, man, y'all just ain't paying attention long enough. In this defense, there's some good spots. There's some high spots. There's some promise for the future. But there are way too many clowns who just don't fucking get it. They just don't get it. I'm sorry. They just don't get it. And I don't know if Phil Snow is trying to make sure that games just kind of miraculously seem to slip away from us or what, man. But I got questions about whether he's the answer or whether it's really about the amount of new, fresh, young blood on this defense. Because this defense in combination with Teddy Bridgewater be giving games away right into the arms of the 7-finger having motherfucker James Pierre-Paul. Like, what is this shit? Man's got 7 fingers and you gonna get picked off by him? Like, dude, this man even got 2 whole hands and you're gonna get picked off by him. You should be goddamn embarrassed. It's a joke. But, hey, on to a better draft pick. You know what I mean? On to the future of the franchise. On to drafting a quarterback who won't do the same boneheaded shit that Teddy does. Book it, fools. Josh from Mass was right. Out.
Josh from Mass bringing that fire. I love it. I love it. And I think this is fair, right? All of us probably agree that going forward this season and into next season, Phil Snow is probably going to be the biggest question mark that surrounds this football team, I feel like. You know, because we're doing this thing, well, is it because of the personnel why we keep on rushing 3 defensive linemen and dropping? And again, we hope so. Tony thinks it is. I think it is. But I feel like that's the one question that none of us, even your most informed Panther fans or analysts or whatever the hell, we're going to be talking about and having questions about Phil Snow and his defensive philosophy. Probably well into next season. If I'm a gambling man, I'd say. I
would say I'm super excited. That's not a good way of saying it. It's interesting, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, don't get into business with your family. Right? Because like when the hard decisions come, there's all these emotional components. If the fire Phil Snow crowd or Phil Snow is a bust or whatever the right moniker is for the people, and it's significant. I'm not saying their positions are unwarranted either, but if they turn out to be right, we'll learn a lot about Matt Rule. I think in that process is that will he keep them for too long? Will he have confidence in it? You know, like you said, this is actually a good storyline to be following right now, is the development of the Panthers defense and the relationship and how that connects to Phil Snow. In fact, you know, it's probably more of an interesting conversation than talking about Teddy at this point. I do want to say something else. Is other people, and while you've got the Teddy stands on one hand, then you got Josh from Mass on the other hand. There's that kind of middle of the road people who say, well, Teddy was a bridge, Teddy was a bridge, Teddy was a bridge.
Yeah.
And he won't be here after that. Like, I don't even know if that's a cool answer in some ways. And the reason I say that is, like, do we expect Teddy Bridgewater to be the quarterback in 2022? I'd be interested. How about this? Is Teddy Bridgewater a success or a failure Does it really depend on this? Is that if he's starting in 2022? Right? I mean, like, this is like, is that, all right, he's our quarterback this year, no doubt. We got him, right? And next year, like, he's got to be our, you know, I mean, there's no reason to cut him. It's not financially, even if you go and draft somebody. Is that if Teddy Bridgewater isn't the quarterback in 2022, does any of this really even fucking matter?
That's why
I know that's your point. That's your point.
That's why it was frustrating to me in the first fucking place. Like, why do you want to pay for a bridge? Like, and if you knew, and
because
if
you want to get across the river.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, damn, dude, like there is no river. If you end up sucking, then you get better draft picks,
you
bro.
caught syphilis while fording the river in you're not old enough, Cody, to know this joke, but it is what's the name of that Oregon Trail joke?
Yeah.
Hey,
dysentery. You didn't get syphilis, you got dysentery.
In my elementary school, we had these old ass computers that did indeed have Oregon Trail.
MS-DOS, yeah.
Not as young as I thought.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have a question I want to ask you guys.
As old as I thought.
I have a question I wanted to ask you guys with this, and we're talking about the offensive line and quarterback, and this relates to kind of both of them and the decisions that Carolina made going into this year with what we were going to go into in the future. Do you think we would have been in a better position had we not signed Robbie Anderson, saved that money, kept Cam Newton and saved the money that we're going to give to Teddy Bridgewater, and put all of that money that we invested in all this stuff into an offensive line and built a solid offensive line with Cam Newton? Do you think we'd be in a better position? I'm not saying we would, because people are going to get all pissed off at me about that. Right. I'm just asking. Do you think we could have built it through free agency, trades, and the draft? We could have built an offensive line that would have been solid.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say.
Too many holes.
Too many holes.
Either way, I liked our options with Cam going forward more than anything else. And I mean, I've been talking about wanting to build an offensive line around Cam for years, but again, I've been challenging this notion with everyone. It doesn't matter if it's offensive line or just the full team in general. Like, it doesn't ever have to take multiple years to rebuild a team or a line group. Like, the Colts had one of the worst offensive lines in football. Then they draft Quentin Nelson, and they take a right tackle from Auburn in the 3rd round. And after that, it's like their whole identity changed. Like, they're one of the better offensive lines in all of football. So, you know, a lot of these takes of, oh, well, we can't go this position because we have so many other holes here, and there. Dude, that's nonsense. You rank your positions according of importance and as far as what you need on your
guards
football team.
In the 2nd and 3rd. That's the thing, is you can make an offensive line robust. You might not get that anchor left tackle for 15 years, but you can really get some good pieces in the mid rounds on offensive. Nobody's taking a guard in the 1st round. I mean, yes, they are, but there's a lot of opportunity there, and we just have not done it. Very simple and plain is that we have, and yes, please. My baby came in here asking me if I need another beverage. How nice is that? We just haven't invested, and I think that part of this was, I still think that this is the luxury of Cam Newton. Cam Newton allowed us to get away with this shit for so long, and while we were screaming about an offensive line, other people are screaming. How many times did we say build that wall?
Forever.
Build that wall. This is not new. So it doesn't even matter who's behind. We've been saying that this offensive line has been a shit show for the last, to be honest, the offensive line has been a shit show since Jordan Gross retired. And you can point to the 2015 offensive line. They played well out over their skis.
But they also, Mike Remmers was the reason ultimately we lost the Super Bowl. Or maybe not him, is the inability to stop Von Miller. This offensive line has been atrocious for a long time, and you've said it for the past couple of months. We've done nothing to invest in it. So why do you expect it to be better? You're going to go get some fucking cast-offs and this and that, and Russell Okung going to trade, who was struggling with injuries for the last 3 years, and that we think it's going to be better? No. It's a train wreck, and a train wreck, and Matt Paradis has just been a disappointment, and he's the best fucking Moton has been the best, and guess what? Dave Gettleman drafted him in the second after disregarding the offensive line for years.
Yeah, I thought it was the third. But by the way, one more thing real quick here. Here goes Cody tooting his own horn yet again. But what was I saying before this season? That part of the reason why I was worried about and for Teddy Bridgewater came true today. That we didn't have the offensive line to be able to protect him. How many times did I say I was worried about this offensive line? That this offensive line is going to be a problem. I kept saying it, and for a little while, they outperformed, I think, all of our expectations. Yeah. But then they just returned back to the means, man, and now it's exactly what I thought it was. Teddy doesn't have enough time to do anything, and even when he does, he's not making those throws.
Do you guys want to hear a stat?
Yes, please. I love stats.
Teddy Bridgewater is 26th in the NFL for average air yards.
It's 26th.
Yes, we've been saying this. He is checked down Teddy.
Hold on. It might be worse than that because I was just basing it off of 32 teams. There might have been worse than that.
He's checked down Teddy, and that's the thing is that and that's that's his game.
Hey, can I add a point too? Look, L. Nazar McDowell in the chat room is kind of having a back and forth with me, and we're having a debate about whether it's offense or defense. And here's the thing. You're right. The defense played horrible, and I agree with you on that. But so if the defense would have held the offense, the Bucs, to 6 points in the second half, 7 points in the second half, do you think that would have been good? I'd say it's pretty good, right? Guess what? We still wouldn't have won. If we'd have held the Bucs to 7 points in the second half, we still wouldn't have won the game. So don't tell me it's not just the defense, it's not the offense. Because we could have held them to 7 points in the second half and still lost the game. All right, period.
We're not a good team yet.
Exactly.
We're becoming better. We're becoming better, but we're not a good team yet. 252-228-5098.
Hey, guys. It's Joey. Oh,
Joey.
Boy. Oh, what the fuck, man? We're like, I think we're what we thought we were. I mean, our team in general is like, we're not the Jets, but record-wise, we're not much better. I don't even know we're going to play ourselves out of Trevor Lawrence. And P.J. Walker has been in 2 games, not 2 full games, but 2 games, and he hasn't managed to throw a decent-looking pass. I mean, so what do we have? I mean, we know Will Grier sucks, although that was with our last coaching staff, so I'll be willing to give him another shot if we absolutely have to, but I hope we don't. But I don't even think we're going to play ourselves out of Trevor Lawrence because we keep playing like this. I don't think we're winning another game, bro. I mean, if there's some games you look at, oh yeah, we could beat Detroit. No, Detroit's actually a good team, especially if you underestimate them. They just are not deep, and they don't know how to win themselves, but the Detroit Lions are the Carolina Panthers. Okay? Are we really much better than them? Because I'm sure they're radio guys and they're, everything Sunny type fans, will say, oh, Matt Stafford's playing great and all that other stuff, just like we say about Teddy Bridgewater. So, this game was just another reason why we're not there yet, and it sucked, and I knew it was going to happen. Anyway, guys. Wow.
My Sundays are complete after I hear Joey Esquivel hit me with the growls, man. Dude, let me tell you, if for whatever reason, if David Tepper initiates the trade that gets us Trevor Lawrence, I will donate to him my body as his concubine forever. I would just do anything and everything he ever wanted to me if he, for some reason, made Trevor Lawrence a part of this football team. I don't care if that's a little much, but that's what it is. If it happens, dude, that would... It's still too good. I don't even want to entertain that. One, it's not going to happen, and number two, I don't want to get my hopes up for that to happen because the Jets are just fucking atrocious, and it's not going to happen.
I don't want to hear this fucking Cam Newton slander in this fucking podcast either. Damn Carolina Brandon Herbert. Sorry, bro. Is you're like, oh, well, what the fuck is Cam doing? Is he having as good a year as Teddy? Well, he's got the same amount of wins as Teddy Bridgewater right now. And
with the worst supporting cast.
With a worse fucking team. You think our fucking team is bad. Their team is a goddamn wreck right now. Hey,
Brandon Herbert says he makes plays. Teddy Bridgewater makes plays for us. Not in the second half.
Tom Brady last year.
Not in the second half he did. Name a play for me.
As long as those plays are behind the line of scrimmage.
Tom Brady looked like he was done last year in New England. That's how bad their fucking team is. And he is like the top quarterback in the league. I don't want to hear this and that with Cam Newton. You fucking like, here's the thing. Is Cam Newton fucking MVP in it? Hell nah. But Cam Newton is actually doing better than most people thought. And after 2 atrocious fucking weeks on his end, he kind of came back. He's got 8 is he fucking just out there just a fucking toast of the town? No. But don't go shitting on him. Is that, I tell you one thing, is that motherfucker, he said if he could put up 20 points or whatever. Shut up. We can't even barely put up 20 points.
Yeah.
And it's not like this has not been the most prolific fucking scoring offense right here. So, look, it's just leave Cam alone. You love Teddy Bridgewater and his big giant D, and now just deal, and that's fine. But Cam's got nothing to do with it.
That's
nothing
right.
to do
with
it.
And can I give my theory on it? And I think this has proven itself to be true. He
said they have a better defense. No, their defense, you haven't watched one New England game. Their defense fucking blows a big-ass Teddy dick.
They do. They suck. But all the people that were most vocal in their criticisms about Cam Newton when he was here are the people that are like, oh, he's trash. We did the best thing by getting rid of him. Yeah, Cam Newton sucks. Have you seen him? Oh, he's only thrown 2 touchdowns. If your receivers were fucking Larry, Curly, and Mo, you'd be lucky to have 1 touchdown. And Cam Newton has 2 of them. So bow your heads in respect.
Did you also see, and here's the other thing, and yes, they were playing the Jets, right? So you're not playing the Bucs today, but Cam, his shoulder, I was worried that that people were right. I was starting to worry in those 2 down games, and CK said it. He said, man, it looks like he's putting everything in it to get the ball down the field. He came out there, and he was pushing the ball down the field, connecting receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ran a 2-minute offense. I just don't think this is I don't have to shit on Cam Newton to celebrate Teddy Bridgewater. And I don't got to shit on Teddy Bridgewater to celebrate Cam Newton. I think this is that I obviously say this is Teddy Bridgewater is limited. And that is, he's not the worst problem. But you don't want, if you think I don't know anything about football, I know one thing is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, does anybody want the quarterback down 14, 6 minutes left in the game with to beat Teddy Bridgewater? Is that your first fucking pick?
We had it with 9 today and 3 timeouts. And
right. Is that like, it felt like it was already away. Teddy is a play ahead player, and that's fine. Maybe you could even say Cam was like that in at some points in his career. Maybe he still is. I don't know. But I tell you, Teddy Bridgewater, is I don't got anything against him, but he on this team is not like he needs to be on a team like the Bears. And maybe they're not even good enough. Maybe their offensive line sucks too much for that. Is that I just feel like as soon as the Panthers got down 2 possessions, why do you think we fake punted? Why?
Yeah. No, I'm so happy you brought that up.
Why?
Man. I'm so fucking happy that we haven't even talked about that. We have the most fake punts in the NFL right now. What does that tell you about what our coaches fucking think of? Dude.
Why did we kick a 67-yard field goal in a windy-ass Kansas City?
Right. Come on.
By the way, Drew Brees is out with the rib injury of the game right now. Jameis Winston is starting at QB.
Yeah.
Not Taysom Hill, the fucking best player.
They're
in the
alternating.
world?
Somebody said that in the chat.
No, they are actually
alternating.
alternating.
Oh, damn. Arizona trying to get back up in this.
By the way, toot my own horn again. Javon Kinlaw just shredded the Saints offensive line. The Saints offensive line, by the way, blew it up and sacked Taysom Hill. So
Kinlaw?
Whatever, bro. Yep. Toot.
Shush. Next call.
Toot.
What's going on, y'all? It's Darius from Raleigh. First, I want to say I agree with Cody.
Call a million years ago.
I understand we got a lot of holes on this team, but when you have a chance to get a quarterback in the draft that you think can solidify the franchise for the next 10 plus years, you go out and take it. Don't get me wrong. I understand we have a lot of holes, but you got to look at a lot of other teams that had a lot of holes but still took a quarterback. Cardinals took Kyler Murray. They had a lot of holes on that offensive line and stuff, and now look at them. We got to get a quarterback. As far as the defense, I do think Phil Snow is scheming bad, but I will say it's because of the weakness of the defense. The players there.
Thank you, Darius.
I don't think it's fair for us to criticize a lot of these rookies. Again, these are rookies. Like you guys keep calling out Derek Brown. He's a rookie playing the hardest position on the defensive line. Just because we don't hear his name doesn't mean he's not doing his job.
I agree.
To have, I think he has like 3 or 4 tackles for loss as a rookie on the defensive line. That doesn't happen that much. That position's hard to play. We're asking these rookies to turn water into wine. Let's just calm down. Remember, we had low expectations coming into this season, and I think our expectations are a little higher because of how close we've been in these games, and that's a testament to this coaching staff. Keep pounding.
Dude, I like this number. Well, first of all, Darius, great call. I agree with every point. Second is that number 23 for the Bills, this cornerback, is the only person I've seen that is taking COVID seriously on the field. He's got a fucking face shield on and a full-on neck mask. I haven't seen that yet. Kyler Murray runs in for a touchdown. All right,
that was an incredible rush, by the way.
Back to the call. I agree. I'm glad when I say thank you, I don't need people to like help me make my points or like I'm just saying thank you that other people think like me, and that is I want Phil Snow to work. I hope he works. I hope it's not the other, right? Like Cody said. Any other question? Any other points you guys need to make on that call?
No, I think that's it, man. Great call by Darius, though.
Yeah, great call. And here is that Derek Brown. Don't worry, folks. Is that if you got problems with Derek Brown, where the fuck were you with Vernon Butler?
Yeah, but
where
also
were you? You know what I'm saying? Like he's already had a better career as a Panther than Vernon Butler.
But guys, I'm really like concerned that this is going to be a conversation that we're going to be having around Derek Brown, even when it's time to re-sign him. Like if people are expecting Derek Brown to all of a sudden be like a stat beast that has 6+ stats or sacks a year, I'm telling you, that's not what Derek Brown was drafted to do. That's not him. Like
you might be surprised, Cody, if you put more pieces around him.
Maybe, but even still,
I don't think he's going to be a sack monster. But
he's
stuff
never
like
going to be the primary pass
killing a
rusher
running back in the backfield.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what you want him to do. And that doesn't necessarily show up heavy on the stat line.
Damn, Patrick Peterson took some damn PEDs, got a damn interception, and got this Arizona team back in this game. 252.
Which I'm happy for.
228-50-98. Not me. I picked the Bills.
Yo, this is JT. I know this is going to sound crazy. First time caller, by the way. I know this is going to sound crazy, but it kind of feels like once the team gets down, that they just they lose a gear. They kind of lose a step. They lose the enthusiasm to play. And I think that, and I know this is going to sound crazy, because they know that Teddy cannot bring them back.
Oh.
I just don't think the players have faith in Teddy to be the type of quarterback that puts a team on his back. And he's a game manager. He is what he is. He just cannot win games. And call me crazy, I think the team knows that. And that's why you see once the Panthers get down, they just stop. They just lose enthusiasm. Call me crazy. Great podcast, guys.
You ain't crazy. Here's the thing, is that if you know Teddy got that big D, right? We all heard of it. It's a big, giant thing all in our face all the time.
Can I just say I was proud of you? I was proud of you after the debate show. Because I'm like, damn, did he really only mention Teddy's dick like one time? I was like, damn, I'm proud of you, man.
Let me tell you this, though. If you're a girl and you getting down with Teddy, you ain't got to worry about getting it from behind. Oh! Coming back from behind is not his place. He needs to be in front of you, face to face.
We're off the rails.
All right.
Oh my god! But you're right though, and that caller's right, man.
Teddy said, "I want to look you in the eyes and make love to you. I don't want to pound it out from behind."
Yeah, he's got to be on top.
He's got to be on top.
What up, guys? It's Nick from up here in Mass.
Man.
You know that's right though, and you know it's funny. All right, here's Nick.
Yeah, Tony. Again. So you already know what I'm about to say to you, don't you? I'm going to ice you up if you don't play my other phone call. I don't care that I was drinking a little bit. Come on. You still got to play it. Let's go. But, no, all joking aside. So just a couple comments from what's going on in the post-game show. Greg, first off, okay, you brought up the fact that even if PJ Walker comes out and balls out, which, by the way, I hope he does. I was a big fan of him in the XFL. Now, granted, I know the XFL is not the NFL. Two completely different leagues. XFL is like, the next step down from the NFL. I get that. Okay? But at the same time, it would be really nice to see PJ Walker come out and ball out. On top of that, with the possibility of, whatever his name is, I forget what his name is, Teddy Bridgewater. With the possibility of Teddy Bridgewater being down, that does give us a chance to see how he actually is. And I know that there's a bunch of people that would love to see how he actually is. This would also tell us if he would be a suitable backup in the future in case if we did sign somebody who we wanted to be our number one quarterback. Just saying. Also, the question the guy posed about keeping the wide receiver trio that we have.
Yep.
I would say yes, as long as if DJ Moore steps up his game. It seems like he's been slipping the last few games. He really needs to step it up. Like, this is supposed to be him and Curtis Samuel's year. But it seems like Curtis Samuel has now stepped into that either number one or number two role, while DJ has fallen down to like the number three role, just because of how much DJ drops the damn ball, and it sucks. So, just wanted to comment on a couple quick things, but also with that whole roster thing as well. I mean, I'd love to keep all three, but if we keep all three, then unfortunately I think that means we got to get rid of C-Mac. And while I don't want that to happen, we've proven that we can be suitable without him having Mike Davis.
We can't.
You know, so Mike Davis might be the cheaper option.
Nick, is like we just
But
signed him to the big
I would
deal.
I would think that if we got rid of T-Mac, we would definitely want to sign a quarterback that's a lot better than Teddy.
You have to trade. Here's the thing: is that what I don't like about the keeping 3 guys is that I think Robbie Anderson is legit. I think that DJ Moore is really pretty darn good when you get the ball to him.
I think he's in his head a little bit right now. I think that he's taken a shot to his confidence because, number one, they did bring in Robbie Anderson. I mean, if you're a wide receiver and you feel like you've got a good 1-2 with him and Curtis Samuel, I mean, he's going to take a hit to his confidence, I imagine. But I mean, some of these mistakes he's making are just like that he's having is just.
I think he's been better though. Is that in the early he had a slow start, right? And they called some hard slants for him. He would get popped and he dropped the ball. He had a tough start. But I would say, okay, the last couple of games he's been absent. I don't think that's on him though entirely. It's not like he's been playing. You know, is that this just it didn't come to him. DJ has made some big damn plays this year, right? He's gotten some touchdowns today. He showed up. If he would have caught that pass today, nobody would be saying his name in a bad light. I just don't think that DJ, Robbie, and Curtis are multiple enough. I just feel like their skill sets are a little too overlapping, and I think we need a red zone threat.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, and the problem with the Carolina Panthers on the offense side, and this dates back to Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman's problem was this, where he had a lot of problems, but it was just like oh well, we're too small in the receiving corps, so we draft these big giants. We have to have a little of all, and the fact that Robbie Anderson has been a possession. Oh my God, Josh Allen.
What?
That was almost the worst play ever, and it turned out not to be. The fact that we need complementary skill sets as well, and the fact that Robbie Anderson is a possession receiver in this offense, I think tells you a lot. And what I mean by that is, I think that Robbie's done a great job at doing what's been asked of him. I just feel like. And this is the player I think of, but I don't like not him now. But it would be nice to have a Dez Bryant in this offense.
It would,
that's the thing is swap. Who do you want to swap out? I don't want to swap out Robbie Anderson right now with anybody.
What has Robbie Anderson done the past 3 weeks?
That's a good question. Not get the ball.
But listen, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but if I'm GM, as of right now, I'm not sold on paying any of them. We
already paid Robbie, and it's only a 2-year deal. It's only a 2-year deal.
So if I'm
it's
GM,
Curtis Samuel or no one. That's the thing that you're making a statement
not even. It's not even him or no one because, if I'm the GM, I'm paying DJ Moore, but I'm not going to pay him top wide receiver money. And this may be controversial, but just because, I don't believe that receivers win championships. So if we had a true balls out number one wide receiver like a DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones that we knew was just fucking money when you had to have it, pay the man. That opens up your offense in a different kind of way. But man, other than that, I'm really not I'm not big on signing a bunch of wide receivers.
That's my point. That's my point is that none of them are Robbie Anderson is here to stay for one more year. You have to make a decision on Curtis. Basically we have to decide on Curtis Samuel now or never. And then next year, we're going to have to decide on DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson together. And my question is, how about this? Is that out of all those 3 receivers, if you could only keep one, which one do you want?
DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore has the highest ceiling. I think he has the best build.
Next
I
person.
think he's the most durable.
Who's next? DJ Moore. Who? One receiver. You get to pick 1 out of 3. And I open this up to the chat room too. 1 out of 3. Who do you get to pick? I'm taking Robbie Anderson.
I don't think so. I think he's the burner, but I mean, again,
he ain't burned shit this year. He's been catching a bunch of balls. Last couple weeks, tailed off 4, but no targets. But okay, I'm sorry. I'm an interrupter.
No, but I mean that in the same respect, right? I mean, the only people that have gotten the attention have been DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel the past 2 weeks, right? And
well, DJ got no attention last week, right? Only 2 targets.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Curtis Samuel was last week, and Robbie Anderson had a little bit of, he wasn't really a big part of the offense last week. He wasn't a big part of the offense this week. I don't think Robbie like I said, I'd be interested to go back and watch the tape, but I'm wondering why Robbie isn't getting the look. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what I look at with this is that Robbie Anderson has twice the amount of catches that DJ Moore has, and only like 200 more yards. Like DJ Moore has like 600 something yards, 65 catches as opposed to like 34.
I just now thought of this. I mean, I just now thought of this. DJ Moore is the after the catch type of receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Samuel's the after the catch type of receiver. He can be a burner too, but he's the after the catch. Robbie Anderson is the burner who's supposed to be down the field, run the post.
And Teddy don't throw down the field.
We don't have a quarterback running
twice as many catches. He must throw it at Robbie. He has twice as many catches as Anderson.
That was all like first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, man.
I'm worried that our stream may have just gotten booted. I'm not entirely sure, but I think my...
Yeah, I froze up on YouTube, it looks like.
Let me see.
And I don't know why. Like, I can't even refresh my screen. I'm surprised I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah, it looks like YouTube definitely froze up.
Oh, now Mead's down. It's my internet.
Oh.
Well, I'm listening to
Wait,
it.
are we back?
I know. Are we back?
It says I can see you moving now on YouTube.
Nice.
I'm listening to us talk. But
I can't see y'all, but all right. Here, Nick wanted me to play this call. Maybe they can hear it.
Hello. This is Detective Montero with the Charlotte Police Department. At approximately 2:59 p.m., there was a mugging. The suspect is Brian Burns. Brian Burns just mugged the shit out of Tom Brady. How's it going? It's Nick from up here in Mass, just fucking with you. But, hey, so one thing that I want to point out is I really think that in order for us to win, we should have gotten a touchdown before the half. We need every chance we get to get a touchdown. Sorry, guys, been drinking. But the other thing is too, and I said this in the podcast on Tuesday night. Teddy Bridgewater cannot adjust pre-snap. He just can't. We took at least one timeout this half, in the first half anyway.
Was that a call? No? Oh, God. Can y'all hear me? Look at this. Way to go, Internet. Sudden link. All right. Tony Dunn here. Hopefully you can continue to... Or maybe everything is going down. Computer dying. Panthers are dying.
Hello. We need every chance we get to get a touchdown. Sorry, guys, been drinking. But the other thing is too, and I said this in the podcast on Tuesday night. Teddy Bridgewater cannot adjust pre-snap. He just can't.
I hear something.
We took at least one timeout this half, in the first half anyways, because he could not adjust. And I get it. If you don't feel comfortable with a play, just take a timeout, especially in the first half, and be done. But we can't keep doing that week in and week out. If you go back and look, it's every single week where we do that. We call an extra timeout because Teddy can't adjust. He sees the defense doing things that he just doesn't like. And it's going to cost us in the long run. He needs to cut that shit out, and he needs to be able to adjust pre-snap. Let me know what you guys think. Love the podcast. See ya.
Thanks, Nick, for the call. One of the last things, I think one thing we have not talked about on this show is Joe Brady moving from the box to the field.
I'm happy that you mentioned this. You know what I think that is? I think that's preparing to be a head coach. Because you never see a head coach.
All of this Brady head coach mess is so premature. You bust your nut and you ain't even got it in yet.
I don't know, dude. The NFL is like just in love with Joe Brady.
And Tony, but you remember me saying this before? I'm like, look, if we have a good season and he has a good offense, being as young as he is, if people come and ask him to be a head coach, how willing is he to take that job? And what I'm saying is that, man, with Teddy Bridgewater and this
we're 3-7,
line,
bro,
and to still put up the kind of numbers, you're gonna tell me that if the Chargers come knocking and they have Justin Herbert and an awesome draft pick,
why would they come knocking? They would be ridiculous, dude. This is too. Y'all are acting like Joe Brady has done more than he has. And I'm a fan of the guy right now. I thought he was showing up, but no. This offense has not deserved an immediate welcome, here's the keys to the fucking house thing. We're 3-7, and it hasn't only been this defense the entire time. No, the idea that Joe Brady should be in consideration for a head coaching job right now is so far premature. And being a head coach is far different than being a coordinator, and we haven't even seen him be a fucking coordinator yet, man.
I mean, I'll bet you anything that he will have job offers at the end of this year. Now, whether or not he accepts
So you think
you
think this is that he would turn down a head coaching position? I don't believe that one bit. No.
Personally, if I'm him, I say no. Just because I don't think that 1 year as an offensive coordinator on a mediocre football team warrants being a head coach. I agree with you, Tony. Listen, you and I are in 100% agreement. I'm trying to think if I'm him, right? And if an opportunity comes knocking,
you gotta go. You gotta go.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's the only time you might suck in the future. No, I just think anybody who offers the opportunity needs to get their head checked.
Well, I'll bet you anything. We could do we could do a Greg bet or whatever we have to do. But I'll bet you that at least one or more teams will request to interview Joe Brady.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's fine. I don't disagree with that. It's just, do they offer him the job?
I think so. I mean, it's the trend.
Okay. All right. The audio, everything's fucking up right now, so let's go ahead and get out of here. Sorry, Nick. We went back and played the other call. Chin check. Who's your defensive player of the game? I gotta say Franklin. Franklin made a play early in it for me, and I just think, man, this little guy is playing hard out there. So I'm giving my chin check player of the week to Franklin. I don't even know his first name.
There are only two people at the end of every game on defense that I feel are even worthy of the chin check, and it's the man it's named after, Jeremy Chin, and my favorite player on the team who will get my vote once again this week, which is Brian Burns. And it's not just because he's an incredible football player, but I feel like today in particular, I felt like we finally got a glimpse to see Brian Burns as something else going forward, which is incredibly important. And that's a leader. I cannot tell you how much I loved it seeing him fucking pissed off on the sideline, cussing out his teammates, saying, hey, this is our division rival. We're at home, and they are dirt stomping our asses. Act like that matters to you. Act like that pisses you off. Guys, we lost Thomas Davis. We lost Luke Kuechly. We have lost veterans on this football team. We have no vocal, rah-rah, get in your face type of guys. And, man, our defense needs that. Our team needs that. And I'm happy to say that Brian Burns is that. So I'm chin-checking Brian Burns, man. That's my dude. Shout out number 53.
Someone else go.
I'll go. You know what? Y'all might they're questioning me about this, but I'm going to chin check Shaq Thompson. I saw his number and heard his name more times today than I think I have in weeks and weeks and weeks.
Added together.
He caused the forced fumble that was at the very beginning. He may not have had a perfect game. Forced fumble at the beginning of the game. We got a touchdown off that. You know, without that touchdown and the special teams setting us up for that touchdown, we scored 10 points this game. So my chin check goes to Shaq Thompson. He played well today. Not great, but he played well.
I like it. CK?
My chin check is going to go to Tom Brady for overthrowing a few of his receivers.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
How about on the offensive side of the ball? Anybody that stood out to you today?
Not really. Teddy Bridgewater stood out for me, but not for the right reason.
Can we go ahead and give Cannon?
How about this? Can we give him how about that? Yeah, I think we should give a universal one game like that. Was a crazy ass awesome return.
It was, man, and we needed it too. It was timely. It was, man, we were getting our ass beat, and Cannon just kind of said, "Nah, man, I'm gonna take this."
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to DJ Moore personally. I thought he was balling. I know that that was a tough catch. He almost came down with it, but other than that, DJ was getting it done too.
The problem is the thing that's so tough about this. Maybe we give it to that tight end. By the way, I don't know.
Whoever he is, Ian Thomas, there was one
his first snap ever, or something.
Yeah, like that. But the problem.
Oh no, the guy that got the touchdown. You mean?
Yeah. So, but I was my thing right now. The thing that's so hard about trying to give any kudos to an offensive player is we had 2 drives that we actually put ourselves in the red zone with. And one of them we didn't even get in the red zone. It was just DJ Moore doing a screen pass. There was only 2 drives that we actually pushed ourselves down the field. That's it. The whole game, guys. 2 drives. That's it.
People in the chat room totally only.
We were 100% in the red zone, though.
Yeah. I mean,
because we only got there once.
We only got there once. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Our problems were flipped on their head. Normally we can't even. Normally when we're in the red zone, we don't do shit with it. Now the one time we were there, we were able to. We just couldn't get to the fucking red zone. So how annoying.
All right. I think we've had a good post-game show. The number's 252-228-5098. We're live Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. for the C3 Panthers podcast. We welcome all Panther fans. We are expert football fans, not football experts, but we know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know, thanks Donald Rumsfeld. Here, you can just come hang out with us. People that are here, we thank you for your time. We love this community that we've built. I've got my best friends in this podcast and in this chat room that you can imagine right now. Very excited to always talk and watch Panthers football with you guys. Share the show. That's all you got to do. Smash the thumbs up. Share one link. That's it. Like, is it that hard to just retweet something or to put it on Facebook? Just hit that little share icon and say, Panther fans, check this out. These guys are dicks. But not as big as Teddy's. And you can also find other cool content that people are putting out. We're putting out other things with crossover platforms and little videos. But, man, even Cody Lashney be getting up there and talking about video games. Cody, how can they talk to you about sports, football, life, or whatever?
Yeah, man. So first off, find me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. And all the fans know by now, whenever you message me, I answer. I'll answer questions, talk about whatever you want, man. Hit me up. And then sometime tomorrow, me and my man Jeffrey are going to be doing another podcast, man, talking about these video game consoles. And some of the video games coming out now, Assassin's Creed, Cyberpunk. So be on the lookout for that. That's on my YouTube channel, Cody Lashney. And every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, so that means this Wednesday, there will be a brand new mock draft on drafttech.com. And listen, y'all better be following me on Draft Tech, because as we continue to lose, the top 10 pick gets a little bit better week after week, man. So follow me for my draft analysis on some of these players that are going to be coming out. And that's it for your boy. Holla at me.
CK, I pre-ordered the new Call of Duty, and I played it for the first time 2 nights ago. And I know Cody doesn't like the shooter games, but I'm not that impressed, to be honest.
No, bro.
It's like just I feel like they took a bunch of other games and tried to integrate. What was that one that you used to do? God, it was like an alien. You were in the space. It's like God, there's like 7 of them.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, maybe. And then you got to pick like the responses. It was kind of like
Mass Effect.
So they brought that in. So they kind of integrated that. I wasn't overly impressed by and I watched it. Like I played it like you're supposed to play a video game. Like I didn't mash through the scenes. Like I watched the scenes and stuff. And I'm not disappointed as in like, I mean, I'm still going to play it.
Underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's just whelmed. Yeah.
I that's one of my biggest things. It's not my favorite. The only thing I'm enjoying is zombies. I haven't even given campaign a go. I want to do that.
That's what I'm working on. I'm doing the campaign full before I get into anything else.
Yeah. The multiplayer's garbage.
Really?
And yeah, I mean the problem is, and you probably get that a little bit from playing the campaign, is it felt like they took a step back on the graphics from Modern Warfare. Like it feels more arcade-like as opposed to realistic. And I think that's the problem. Call of Duty.
Do you think they gave up a little bit because the PS5 is about to come out?
Possibly, yeah.
I think their efforts are on Warzone and trying to update that.
Yeah. All right. How can they find your gaming stream?
You can find me at on Facebook Gaming. My Facebook username is going to be Codizzle Allen, and it's going to be an _ between Codizzle and Allen. And, I stream most nights. Sunday nights, I usually kind of reserve to, spend time with my family. But every other night, typically 10 o'clock, you can find me streaming. So come check it out.
Man of Many Podcasts, Greg, the villain, also of the C3 Panthers podcast. How can they find your work?
You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. It's my only form of social media. Just hit me up. I like to debate about things as long as you can be civil about it and slide in my DMs. Do it on the live feed. I don't care. But you can find me there. Check out Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, where you can find all my other shows. I'm involved in a lot of different things. I think actually I've podcasted every day this week, and then I think I'm scheduled to podcast every day up to Wednesday this week. So yeah, it's gonna be a long streak.
Has the Mandalorian gotten better?
It has. Have you watched any more of it?
No. I watched the first 20 minutes. I was hammered drunk too, and I was like, blah blah blah. But still, it just was so cheesy. No,
I think
it
you
was
need to
so cheesy, dude. It was so cheesy.
I think in order to really like the newest episodes, the last 2 that have come out, you've got to be a little more knowledgeable about canon story to get excited about it. It still could be good, but you don't get as excited when you see this if you don't know.
And what about this mess about them trying to cancel? Did you hear people trying to cancel Baby Yoda for genocide?
Yeah, it's so stupid. People are saying because he was eating he's eating some eggs of some frog in the second episode, and they're like, oh, it's genocide. But they clearly state, 1, the eggs are unfertilized, and 2, It's to end her line, not her species. To end her line. Which, don't get me wrong,
who cares
it's still
if it's
terrible.
genocide?
It's still terrible,
you
but
have
it's not genocide.
people cutting people's heads off.
If you're the kind of person that gets mad about Baby Yoda, I hope that you're dumb enough to eat the fucking Tide Pods. How about that?
I agree. I agree. Eat those eggs. Kill that imaginary world. I don't give a fuck. It's imagination, bitches.
Drop, Greg. Like I always get confused.
They drop midnight on Thursdays. Friday mornings when they drop. So on East Coast at Thursday nights at midnight, you can watch them.
I need to watch episode 3. Okay,
it's
All
great.
Right. C3 Panthers podcast here live Tuesday night, 9 p.m. at @cat_chronicles. Keep pounding, folks.
Keep pounding.
Peace.
Keep pounding.
All right, guys.